Prime's exclusive wildcard playoff game is Saturday night. Jordan Love and the Packers take on Caleb Williams and the Bears. Not a Prime member? Sign up for a 30-day free trial to stream the game.
That's going to be caught for the touchdown.
NFC North rivals square off in the latest chapter of the NFL's oldest feud. The Packers and Bears in Prime's exclusive wildcard playoff game. Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Only on Prime. Sign up for a 30-day free trial today. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details.
Oh, it's such a clutch off-season pickup, Dave.
I was worried we'd bring back the same team.
I meant those blackout motorized shades.
Blinds.com made it crazy affordable to replace our old blinds.
Hard to install?
No, it's easy. I installed these and then got some for my mom. She talked to a design consultant for free and scheduled a professional measure and install.
Hall of Fame son.
They're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings in the world.
Blinds.com is the GOAT.
Visit Blinds.com now for up to 45% off with minimum purchase plus a free professional measure. Rules and restrictions apply.
Live from New York. The show that's making a request. Okay? Because we just shared stories about butt dials that we get nervous about. For 2026, normalize just calling people. Now when I get a call, it's like, there must be some sort of disaster.
It's true.
Versus like, that person probably wanted to see how I was doing.
Yeah,
like, what do they want?
Can I add something to that?
Sure, of course.
And if you accidentally call someone you don't often call and they don't answer because you butt dialed them, text and say,
it's an emergency.
No, text and say either lie and be like, I was hoping to talk to you, give me a call, or sorry, mistake, or else people panic.
It's an emergency, but now I realize I can't depend on it. First hour, first things first. Today, are the Bills unleashing Josh Allen against the Prince? And is that a good idea? Meanwhile, changes in Miami, bro. Mike McDaniel fired. What's next for McDaniel? And are the Dolphins looking at Harbaugh? And finally, it's the most motivational segment in all of sports. The Bud List. Alongside Nick Wright, I'm Kevin Wilds. Brew, anybody on the bubble of the Bud List?
Yes.
Okay.
Who?
There were just people.
Just several people?
No, Trevor Lawrence.
What would he have to do?
He was on the bubble.
Dress.
He was on the bubble.
Wow.
He almost got it. I'll explain later.
Okay, excellent.
He almost was on it.
We are starting, you're in luck, with Drake Maye and the Patriots. The first playoff game for the MVP candidate, 2-seed after a 14-win season. Not trying to change up many things. You know what they say? It's not broke, don't fix it. Take a listen to Drake Maye.
What Coach was preaching is just don't change, our process, our preparation, throughout the week, what we've been doing. I think the natural thing is trying to, try to, something to get a little more amped. It's just natural, as a humans, for a big game. And I think just trust what you've been doing. And, I told these guys at the end of the season before the playoffs came, hey, to put some extra work in to see after practice.
No, he's like, no, we're going home. Do the exact same thing. So I like that sound from Drake Maye. Here's what I don't like. Favored by fewer than 4 in the wild card round in the last 3 years. Patriots are favored by 3.5. 2-7 overall record against the spread, 1-8. And point per game differential is 9. Not very close at all. What are the chances that the Chargers upset the Patriots?
I think they have a really good chance of upsetting the Patriots, even though I'm not picking the upset. Does that make sense? It is not what I believe is going to happen, but I see a lot of ways it can happen, if it logically makes sense to the audience. They have some natural advantages that I'm going to say and then duck from Kevin Wilds, because I think they matter and he does not. They have the more experienced head coach, and I think the more accomplished head coach. They have the more experienced quarterback. And as you could argue a more accomplished or not, I guess that probably depends on if Drake Maye does win the MVP. I think Maye had the better season, and I think Maye is better than Herbert. But a lot of people think Justin Herbert's better than Drake Maye at this point in their careers. And so that at least is arguable. And I believe they have the thing that travels best in cold weather in the playoffs, which is the better defense. And that's not a knock on the Patriots defense, which I think has been solid but untested to a degree because of the quarterbacks they have faced. And the Chargers defense what has carried them to this point is, I would say, Justin Herbert's toughness and playmaking and the defense. Like, they have not been a prolific offense, and Herbert's numbers haven't been great, but the fact that he's been available and made some clutch plays. So all of those things, Brew, can absolutely lead to what would, for I think most people, not be a shocking upset. This is not what I would consider, if there is such a thing as a typical 2 versus 7, because there have only been 7 seeds for 5 years. This is, these two teams are much closer in quality than I think your typical 2 versus 7 would be. So, yeah, I mean, I think they have a good chance.
Well, Wiles, look, you could have put something up there. I know that graphic wasn't really favorable for you, but 7 seeds, Nick, since they've been in the playoffs, are 1-9 in the playoffs.
It's just J-Lo against the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's it. And so the likelihood, but this is obviously a much closer 2-7 than we're used to. Yeah, I think, look, I'm going to say 40% chance. So that means I'm leaning Patriots, but not heavy. I think this is a really closely matched game. If the Chargers were healthy, I think I would be going for them. But they're not, and I think
they were healthy. They
wouldn't even be the 7th seed, right? They wouldn't be the 7th seed. Now, without Joe Alt, and I know we kind of make fun, but they already lost Rashawn Slater. Then they lose their other good offensive tackle, but they beat Pittsburgh and Philadelphia without Joe Alt, and so I still think they're a tough team.
They ended the Chiefs' season. I understand the Chiefs ended up, Mahomes
I
ended up being bad.
Still a good
but
win.
that was the game the Chiefs the game where Patrick got hurt was the game they
knew they had a must win.
Or the game before that. Yeah, I apologize because it was Houston. But yes, it was a must win. No, that's right. It was a must win for the Chiefs, and they ended the Chiefs season.
So that's a big win to me, regardless of how the Chiefs finish the season. And they beat Dallas too, which can be viewed as a good win. So they're still a dangerous team. I agree. Harbaugh is a great coach. Obviously, last year in the playoffs didn't go well, but he's coached 9 playoff games. 2 of them been to 2 NFC championship games, a Super Bowl. So he's going to be ready, I would expect. Justin Herbert, you got a very talented quarterback. Everybody, whether they like Herbert or not, knows how talented he is. And he's got to have a chip on his shoulder because he's been bad in the playoffs, and he's having a very nice season, gotten a lot of respect. He already had it, but he's gotten even more respect for how he's maneuvered this team with the injuries. And he's got to want to finish that off with playing well in this game. And then they have a pretty good pass rush. It's not like best in the league or near the best, but it's pretty good. And Drake obviously has taken a lot of sacks, so I think that's something.
For the Chargers pass rush.
For the Chargers pass
Patriots.
rush. Yeah. And with Drake taking so many sacks, that's a little something to worry about too.
I'm worried about Justin Herbert. Last time he was in New England, he won the game 40-7. So I think he just comes in and granted that was Gerard Mayo and that was Drake Maye and a totally different defense. That being said, you go in the building
he's confident.
Is this where you guys won all the Super Bowl banners? I just put up 40 points on you guys not too long ago. It makes me nervous. I'd feel much better if he had lost 40-7. The other thing, and Danny will talk about it, and everyone, Justin Herbert's defenders will talk about it. No Joe Alt. The offensive line is banged up. It's like if he loses, give him a break. That being said, the Patriots do not get to the quarterback. It is an Achilles heel of the team to the point where in the offseason, I bet our number 1 target will be, if we're not going Max Crosby or try to make some Myles Garrett Hail Mary. Sacks were 22nd. QB hits were 23rd. Pressures were 16th. Herbert's got the most hits taken and most pressures faced. So it's a little bit of an okay getting after you versus really bad. But I don't think it's going to be the classic Justin Herbert under duress the entire game.
So let me add to that, because in a weird way, leave that up just for a second. Those numbers, just like Myles Garrett's numbers, were even more impressive because they were always losing.
A little bit.
These numbers are a little more alarming because you guys led so much late in games, and teams.
And he didn't throw it as much as a lot of quarterbats. Drake Maye.
But this is the defense. What I'm saying
is the poor Jets trying to throw the ball.
Right,
Miami trying to throw the ball.
You guys had a bunch of times where teams were in gotta pass situations, and you still are near the bottom of the league.
It's not great.
Here's the other thing that I tried to kind of force into the conversation last week, but it was too convoluted on potential playoff matchups and whatever it was. I don't think it's nothing that the Chargers opted into this game.
Oh, they're confident.
Right. The Chargers
the matchup.
walked into Week 18 as the 6th seed and said, we're resting everyone because we don't care about that. We are fine with with losing this game, which guaranteed them, by the way, they would get the Pats, unless the Pats somehow lost their game. Because by the Chargers losing, the Broncos won. So they guaranteed the Pats weren't going to get up to the 1 when they could have, played to win to maybe move up to the 5 or certainly stay the 6 and be looking at Jacksonville as an opponent. But Jacksonville clocked them.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying it's good or bad strategy, but I don't think it's nothing that the Chargers basically said, yeah, we understand by not playing our guys, we almost assuredly are going to be a trip to New England in round 1, and we're fine with that. And it just speaks, maybe it's dumb, but it just speaks to, I think, their confidence.
It just feels like they were bitten by the injury bug all year long.
And so
Harbaugh putting them out there, like, God forbid something happened to Herbert, and everybody would have been like, why were you gunning for the 5 rather than the 6 when the 1 seed, the AFC West was already done?
I agree with that somewhat. My pushback would be, let's say it was a normal AFC, a pre-Drake Maye AFC East year. Mm-hmm. And the Chargers are walking into Week 18, and it's like, all right, if we lose, we're going to be the 7 and facing the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. And if we win, we're facing Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they might have put more importance on it. Like they certainly were not fearful of this matchup, whether they should or shouldn't.
All right, moving on. Josh Allen is headed to Jacksonville, much like Coach Mangini's text about must win. He put himself through a self-scout, and here's what he learned. Take a listen.
There's so much out there that I've missed, right? Whether it's getting a little lazy with my feet and not taking a check down and maybe instead trying to force something downfield, or throwing the ball away, not taking sacks, and allowing us to be in field goal range. And there's still so much room to improve, and I think I just have this extra emphasis, like I said, on points are at a premium in the playoffs, and just trying to do everything I can to give us points.
Kind of a perfect answer. Do you like that from Josh?
I do. I like the way Josh Allen gets ready for the playoffs. I don't know if this is new. It sounds like maybe it is, doing the self-scout. But this dude is a playoff performer. Like, that has been the difference, even though I don't think Lamar has been as bad as you have. Like, he has shown, he hasn't been great in every game, but he has been awesome. I mean, you see, again, his numbers, he improves in everything. Even his interception percentage goes down, which is one of his big kind of flaws. And so he's going to show up. And I like that he's proven time and time again that the moment is not too big for him. He doesn't really feel the pressure. And I think that's good because he's under the most pressure in these playoffs. Like, he has to know that Mahomes is out, Burrow is out, Lamar is out. Everybody's looking at me like this is the time. It's you against an old guy in Aaron Rodgers or a bunch of young guys. And so he knows that, but I think his track record shows he'll be fine with that. His last 5 playoff games, it's 2 seasons, he's got 13 total touchdowns, 0 turnovers. So he's going to be fine. It's do the other guys show up? Look, I think the way they'll do it, I start out, because that stat with the no turnovers goes back to the year before that. I think he had 4 touchdowns and 4 turnovers in the postseason. That's when Brady the next season kind of took the offense down a notch and took it out of his hands as far as throwing as much. And he hasn't turned it over. So I think first half, they'll come out. A lot of James Cook, a lot of throwing to the tight ends, playing conservatively. And if they don't have control of the game, or if they're behind, second half, they've been the best second half team in the league.
But
I think they'll unleash.
I think that's very dangerous in the playoffs. I think that the idea of we're going to be conservative early, and if we fall behind big, don't worry. I don't think they think that, and I don't think they'll let it go that far. But I do think they'll say, let's see if we can get ahead playing conservatively. Sure. And then if it gets close or whatever, then they'll have to let it go. And listen, I don't know how much of the tough playoff moments Josh has had, and there haven't been a ton. That you mentioned the year he had 4 touchdowns, 4 turnovers. That's basically all a product of, I think, one game against the Bengals when he threw the 3 picks. He was terrible. And that was a bad home loss. That was a bad loss. I don't know how much of my feeling on Josh Allen, the playoff player, is colored by disproportionate games against the Chiefs, because he has been brilliant, but he also has been very clearly antsy. But how much of that is that playing the Chiefs? 2 years ago, on the opening drive of the game, on 3rd down, he throws a lateral. You know what I mean? On 3rd down, they kept it, right? Right.
They didn't lose it, but it was a wild
play.
It
was a wild play that also was a forward pass. Andy didn't. Doesn't matter. Yep. But it was it was the first drive of the. It's 0-0. There's 14-something left. Late in that game, before Bass misses the kick, he's extending for a first down. He doesn't need to, and fumbles the ball, and the Chiefs almost scoop. So he has had some. But how much of that is just it's playoffs and it's the Mahomes piece of it? So I don't know how much that applies here. But here's my answer on what I need to see from Josh Allen this postseason. And I know that a lot of my friends in the media think we're all being unfair to Josh Allen. That they're just putting this pressure on him. Like, guys, I don't know if you know it. He actually doesn't have a perfect team. No, we know. He just has, according to the analytics community, the best offensive line in football, the rushing champ, and the #1 pass defense. But it's got a bad rush defense. I think very shaky skill position receivers, right? Not skill position, but receivers. Why? Because I think tight end's good, running back's great, and a coach that we think gets tight. You know what I mean? All things considered, it's kind of like a league average-ish situation that we expect to be propelled by an all-time great quarterback. So what do I expect from Josh this postseason? The answer is everything. The answer is to be able to make the splash plays without turning the ball over. Yeah. The answer is to be the reason your team wins. Because it can't be quarterback's the most important position. There's only 12 really good ones in the whole world. The league's 20th best quarterback makes 5 times the league's best running back, and it's not fair to ask these guys to carry that. That's not the sport, and that's certainly not the sport in the playoffs. If I thought the Bills were a bad team, I wouldn't feel this way. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're not a perfect team, and they're oddly built, but they have definitive strengths outside of Allen. The offensive line and the running game outside of Allen are brilliant. The pass defense, it's ranked #1 in the league in yards. I don't actually think it's the best pass defense, but it's a good pass defense. That plus what is supposed to be head and shoulders the best quarterback on his side of the bracket when you incorporate experience, that's why they're favored against a 13-win Jags team that I think is really good. I think the Jags obviously can win this game. I might pick them to win this game. But I expect Josh to be excellent. And I think that is what he would want people to expect for him to be excellent.
And there's very little reason right now to think he won't be excellent.
Correct.
I mean, when you look at his track record.
Sunday at 1 in Jacksonville. Jordan Love, Brew, back practicing to turn the reins over to Malik Willis while recovering from a concussion. Will rust be a factor in his return? Take a listen.
Still just practicing all week and, staying locked in and, obviously was suited up last week, was ready to go. But, it's been a couple weeks, but no, it doesn't feel like that. I think, just staying with it in practice.
Now, the history doesn't bode well. On the road versus a division rival, last 4 postseasons, 0-9.
That's just overall in the league?
Yeah, when you're playing another division rival. Losing by 18 points and
So that's interesting.
I definitely don't see that happen.
So the road team, when they play for a 3rd time, that's interesting.
Yeah, so not good. But maybe Jordan Love can switch it up.
I mean, look, this is a very evenly matched game. I wouldn't be surprised if Chicago won. I think I'm going to, my team is the Packers, and I feel good about them. But
dude.
No, I do. Well, we all know once they lost Micah, they weren't really super. But I feel good, and I feel like they have a puncher's chance, kind of.
Okay.
Like maybe I probably feel. I don't know if I'd have felt better about the Ravens. Yeah, I mean, I would have been more excited. They got more dynamite, the Ravens. Sure. But anyway, I do think, look, in a year, maybe next year, maybe 2 years from now, Caleb if he continues to improve, should be better than Jordan Love. At this moment, I think Jordan Love is better. I definitely think he's more consistent, even though you worry about him sometimes too, but he's certainly more consistent than Caleb. And when you look at last time they played, as far as a complete game, because Jordan Love got hurt in the second game they played, but J-Lo was much better. Caleb did have the nice second half comeback, but threw the interception to end the game trying to make it happen. And Jordan Love was great.
Yep.
And so, look, Josh Jacobs got rested last week. I think that'll be important. He'll have a good run game. I think Jordan Love is facing a lesser defense, even without Mike. And Micah played in that game.
Yes.
But even without Mike, I still think the Packers' defense is better. They're far more experienced. Jordan Love, for a young starting quarterback, this is his fourth playoff game. So he's been up and down, one great, one mediocre, one bad. But I think that experience helps him against Caleb. So, yeah, and even the coaching. I mean, Matt LaFleur versus Ben Johnson as far as head coach in the playoffs. So I think a lot of things favor J-Lo. So I do feel good about his chances of outplaying Caleb.
So I think Caleb's better than him. He has not.
Right now?
Yeah, I do. But in these matchups, he hasn't been, to your point. And Caleb against Green Bay in both games was awful in the first half, and in the second game was bad for the first 3+ quarters. You know what I mean? Like that second game against Green Bay was bizarre in that it has the two greatest plays of Caleb's career, and that it took those two plays and an onside kick to save what otherwise was going to be a terrible loss.
To Malik Willis.
Right, to Malik Willis, who came in and played well. Right. So there is something to this Jeff Hafley Packers defense has given Caleb real trouble. And so I think that is noteworthy. But and even if I'm wrong that Caleb's better than Jordan right now, you're not, I don't believe, going to get crisp A Jordan Love. I don't think you miss 3 weeks and all of it, you know what I mean? You are in your first game back instantly, as sharp as can be, especially now he's been dealing with this part for a while without what I would consider your best weapon and safety blanket in Tucker Kraft. And so all of that
His
plus,
backups played pretty well, though.
Oh, yes. Who was actually, as you pointed out, the guy who was higher draft pick the same year was supposed to be the better of the two players. But it's still not Tucker Kraft, who might have been en route to being the best tight end in football this year. I also don't love, if I'm Jordan Love in this spot, the type of defense the Bears have, which is, yes, I understand, it's a bad defense, but it also is a defense that forces turnovers. When that has been, when you say Jordan Love had one great game, one mediocre game, one awful game, the reason the mediocre game was mediocre was a game-sealing pick, and the reason the awful game was awful was 3 picks. Like, he has been, in his limited postseason experience, a guy that'll put the ball in jeopardy. Now, I don't know what Caleb's going to look like in the playoffs, and even though I think Caleb Williams is one of the most talented players coming in the league in 10 years, I think it's possible that a guy in his first playoff game.
I've never seen him.
I've never seen him in the playoffs, so I don't know. I don't know how he's going to play.
I've seen him in crying. I don't know. I got to be going in an important game, and he's in the stands crying.
I think Caleb was probably of all the young quarterbacks that are in these playoffs, I think Caleb pretty clearly had the best college career. Maybe I'm wrong. We can check North Carolina's Holiday Bowl. But if we're going to bring up the college stuff. But regardless, so I do think there is.
Cam was pretty good.
Say?
Cam.
No, I'm.
In the playoffs,
Bo Nix, Drake, and Caleb. So that is to me an unknown factor. But I think Caleb's going to play his best game against the Packers, which is maybe not saying much. And I think Jordan Love's going to be rusty. Like, I don't like this spot for Green Bay, and I also don't think Green Bay right now is a great team. They could have been, but I think with the injuries and the limping into the playoffs, they're not, to me, a scary matchup.
Why are they favored?
Listen, I think that the bookmakers and the public like the Packers, and they don't trust the Bears at all. That's the answer.
Is the line the same as Bills?
Yes.
Jags?
Yeah.
So we're like, Josh Allen's supposed to go down to Jacksonville it's the same line. I don't know. I kind of like the Packers. I look at it.
Well, look, the Packers beat them when both teams were kind of whole.
Yep.
And then almost beat them with their backup, was beating them for most of that game. And you don't expect Caleb to continue. Like, he's been kind of poor in the first 3 quarters and great in fourth quarters a lot. You don't expect that to continue. You think he's going to either level it out, but he's not going to keep having all these.
But I mean, that
comebacks
is
all the
what
time.
happened in Week 18.
Right.
Week 18,
but it can't happen,
He likes to kind of, I don't know, comes on late.
But
it's impressive.
I also trust the Bears running game more than the Packers running game, and I think that's something Caleb's going to be able to lean on, to maybe more so than Jordan Love.
Jalen Hurts headed back to the Super Bowl, back-to-back Super Bowl MVPs. We discuss next on FS1, the Fox Sports Channel on SiriusXM.
This is a boss answer.
Nearly home. Isn't home where we all want to be? Reba here for Realtor.com, the pros' #1 most trusted app. Finding a home is like dating. You're not just looking for a place to live, you're searching for the one. That's where Realtor.com comes in. Like any good matchmaker, they know exactly where to look. With over 500,000 new real listings straight from the pros every month, you could find your perfect match today. Ranch style with a pool, barn dominium with an in-law suite? Realtor.com's got them. Modern craftsman with a big yard and a treehouse out back? Realtor.com will have you saying, yep, that's the one. No more swiping. It's time to start finding. Download the Realtor.com app today, cause you're nearly home. Make it real with Realtor.com.
Pros #1 most trusted app based on August 2024 proprietary survey. Over 500,000 new listings every month based on average new for sale and rental listings. February 2024 through January 2025.
Hey, our podcast, #1 in the world. Thank you for that accomplishment. And YouTube is only 22 million away from a billion views, Coach. Again, if we're not there by the Super Bowl.
I mean, right now we're ahead of schedule.
On pace, right?
Ahead of schedule.
She's
we're
nervous,
averaging
though. Don't let her fool you.
Around 1 million a day, and we have more than 22 days till the Super Bowl. But we hit a snag. You do more of the things where people unsubscribe because you're so obnoxious. It's going to cost you on a job.
Coach, it was bad.
MVP hosting the 49ers. Philly starts their title defense. This is Sunday at 4 on Fox. Here's Jalen on stepping up in huge moments. Take a listen.
Why do you think it is in your career you've played better or where you've elevated your performance in these high-stakes games?
Some things are in you.
That's in you.
I'm just answering your question.
I don't like it. I love it.
That's a boss.
Expect Hurts to continue his playoff excellence.
Nothing else need be said. It's just how I roll. Yes, I do. He's obviously facing a defense that's injury-riddled and struggling. So everybody except Sam Darnold has cooked against them recently. So I think he'll play well. But beyond that, he's proven he steps up in the biggest moments. I mean, even when you look back, what happened to him in college when he got benched for Tua, that's tough to come back from mentally. Mm-hmm. And he did it, with flying colors, and obviously now in the playoffs. So if you look at this graph, his last 3 years in the playoffs, this is his record. That's the second best, I assume, to Mahomes. Passer rating, look at the touchdowns to turnovers. That, I believe, is 5 games or 6. He's won 6 of his last 8 playoff games.
8 games.
I think, but over the last 3 years, that's 8 games. So he's got 19 touchdowns total, 9 passing, 10 rushing, but only 2 turnovers. So I just think with the combination of, I'm not saying he can't have a bad game, but I don't see him having a bad game. 6 of his 8 last playoff games, he's been over 100 passer rating. I see at worst him just kind of being solid, but I think he'll play well. And again, that combination with going against a struggling defense, I think he's going to look good.
Yeah, to your point, Brew, when you look at the numbers are pretty daunting. They're 25th in pass defense. Yeah. They're 24th in takeaways with 16. They're 31st in interceptions, so that shouldn't be a problem. They're last in sacks. They've only had 20 sacks. Prior to the Seattle game, the 3 games prior, they'd given up 30 points, an average of 30 points. So all that lends itself to it. Every single linebacker that was on the original 53-man roster is hurt. So they're either on IR or they're not practicing right now. So there's not a single linebacker who's on the original 53-man roster. Now, all that being said, the last time he faced Saleh's defense, and it's only been one time, was with the Jets. They lost 20-14. He did have 300-plus yards. He had 327 yards. He had 2 TDs, but he had 3 interceptions.
Yeah, that was a bet.
And his quarterback rating was 59.5. So there is that component to it, where when they have, from a scheme perspective, now granted it's different team, different place, but that part does come into play to some degree. I would be shocked if he didn't have a really good game against the 49ers, but
this would be a horrible loss for Philadelphia.
This would be a nightmare loss.
Which sounds disrespectful to the Niners, but it's not meant to be.
No. Right.
It's the Niners.
They've had a great year.
I think there is a very legitimate case for Kyle Shanahan to be Coach of the Year. You guys know how strongly I feel about the season McCaffrey had. Yep. And I think Saleh was, making chicken salad, if you will, for a good portion of the year, given the injuries. And not trying to disrespect the players, but just given how many injuries they had. But eventually it caught up to him. So I understand, Philly's at home. They're rested. They're, getting guys back that are important. So I agree with you guys that it would be a bad loss. It's also a loss I could see happening. Because I want to make this clear to answer this question. I think it is close to off the board that Jalen Hurts has a dog of a game. Cost them, let me rephrase it, cost them the game. Right. Makes a bunch of mistakes, turns the ball over. That's not who he's been in the postseason. But he also has really, outside of that, the Super Bowl they lost against the Chiefs, really their playoff losses, and I think one of the losses to Tampa.
That was his first playoff game.
They lost two.
Second,
they have 2 games against Tampa.
Right.
He doesn't throw for a lot of yards. No. He's not.
He doesn't even throw a ton.
He doesn't throw a ton. So last year, the Eagles in the conference championship game and the Super Bowl scored 95 points, and the offense and defense scored, offense scored. It was unbelievable, their overall offense. And even in those games, he didn't throw for 250 in either one. The first 2 rounds of the playoffs last year, he threw for a combined 260. The offense was what it had been all year. Saquon dominated. Jalen, Jalen made some key moments, or in the first round against Green Bay, had like a 40-yard run for a touchdown.
Yeah. Then it was snowing.
Right. The snow game was the Rams, and that's when Saquon's pounded himself on the helmet of the 80-yard run. But he was not. The Eagles' offense for the first 2 rounds of the playoffs last year was what the Eagles' offense was during the regular season last year. Jalen took care of the ball. Saquon was explosive. The Eagles' offense, in the beginning of the playoffs this year, is what it's been throughout this regular season, that's simply bad. They have not scored more than 20 points against a playoff team since week 3. They scored 13 in a win against Buffalo, which is, again, a credit to the team. They scored 10 in a win against Green Bay. They scored, 19
Detroit.
in a loss? Well, Detroit's not a playoff team, but they didn't score. 19 in a loss to the Chargers. The Eagles' offense has been a struggle all year. Now, if they end up losing, we'll figure out who to blame, after the season. I'm ready right now. I know you are. I don't all of a sudden, Coach, think
A.J. Brown, you're
no, not A.J. Brown.
Believe it or not, he's going to blame a coach. But I don't think, Brew, I don't know if you like that. All of a sudden, this is going to be an electric Eagles offense. Even if Jalen is a big game player, which he clearly is, I think this is going to be a conservative, cautious, trust the defense type of Eagles offense, which is who they've been all year long. And that's not necessarily a problem. It's just what I expect.
Well, that to me is the one thing that could give the 49ers an edge. They go into this game feeling like they're playing with house money, and they're loose, and they're willing to take chances. And because, they've dealt with the injuries. Where the Eagles are going to this, there's the pressure of they didn't play their guys, so they lost a second. All the stuff that's been dogging them throughout the entire season, all that pressured up. The offense isn't playing the way it is, and then they go out there where San Francisco rolls in. It's like, hey, we're the underdogs. Nobody expects us to win. We're going to cut loose.
Yeah.
That can really give you some momentum.
You're worried about the –
I don't like this. I was trying to come up with a word to describe the Eagles' offense. I've gone through a few iterations.
remember Soylent? What do you call it?
Soylent?
Soylent?
Meal replacement, yeah.
Gianna, what is that called?
It's Soylent. You got
It's a big tech
it.
thing.
Soylent. Yeah, people.
So it's like this green goo that they made in Silicon Valley.
How come I haven't seen that?
No, it's just goo, and it's got like all of your nutrients, and they put it in like a baby bottle, and you're just like while you code. So it's got everything you need, and it'll make you successful health-wise. But it's the most boring thing on the planet. Right. It's green goo.
I got to look this up.
No, it's not good, Coach. That's the point. It's effective, but boring. And that's the Eagles' game plan.
But if they win, not just this game, but the Super Bowl, nobody cares. If it was boring.
I don't think it's an effective strategy to bad vibe and Soylent your way to Super Bowl.
You're very worried about your Eagles. And I think understandably. But
I've got a quote in the bud list. I don't want to spoil it. But Jalen Hurts has a quote that if we heard from anyone else talking about it's Lamar says nicer things about Todd Monken. It's out of control.
Okay.
That's coming up in 23 minutes. Turning our attention to the Steelers. Mike Tomlin, home underdog on Monday night, despite Nick's favorite graphic outlining his Monday night dominance. Here's Mike Tomlin.
I think about DeMeco Ryans when I watched their tape and how he played the game and a tip of the cap to him. I think the Houston Texans play collectively the way that he did. They're tough and smart. They play to win. They play with emotion, as I mentioned. And so, man, really excited. Don't take home playoff games for granted. Certainly don't take home Monday night playoff games for granted.
I mean,
this is just.
I mean, listen, you guys can make fun of me, and it's fine. But here is what I know. Mike Tomlin believes you can't come into our house on Monday Night Football and beat us. He believes that. And that and he will, tell me if you think I'm wrong, I think he will message that to the team. I think that, and whether it's a placebo effect or not, I do think they have a slight psychological bump that this game is Monday night and not Saturday afternoon. I do
because
believe
of this
that.
record?
Yes, because if you've been coaching somewhere for 20 years and you've never lost in this setting, you're going to feel good about it.
They have lost.
No, 12-0 at home. 12-0 at home. 22-3 overall. Sorry, bro.
I need my reading glasses.
Put your readers on. And so do I think that's the biggest factor of this game? No, of course not. But I don't think it's nothing.
It's something.
And I think Mike Tomlin knows it's not nothing. That's all.
I would usually give Nick a hard time about this. But as a head coach, when you're at the podium, you know what you're saying. And when you specifically reference the Monday night component of this, that wasn't just a slip of the tongue, or he knows what he's saying, and he's sending a very strong message of like, yeah, we're really good in this environment, and we expect to be good again in this environment and on this day, because that was not an accident that he said that.
But is it just random, or the Steelers preparing in some unique way that gives them?
It doesn't matter why, as long as everybody believes that that's going to work.
Last time we had something like this, it was Trevor on Saturdays, and they had the third greatest comeback in the history of football. I'm just telling you. You guys made fun of me for that one too. That he hadn't lost on Saturdays at that it was in his whole football career. Because he never lost on Saturdays in college or in the pros.
He's lost a lot on Saturdays in the NFL.
Well, no, they don't play that much on Saturdays in the NFL.
When they do, he's probably lost.
I'm just telling you.
I think we started talking about like different phases of the moon.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Whenever you break out the.
Tell Mike Tomlin that.
Clemson. Well, Mike's not. He's not talking about.
Listen. He's not going to give away a special sauce. He's just saying I have it. I don't know what it is.
Nearly home. Isn't home where we all want to be? Reba here for Realtor.com, the pros' #1 most trusted app. If you're hearing me, I'm going to assume you're awake. And if you aren't, because while you're snoozing, someone else might be finding your dream home. That's where Realtor.com comes in. With over 500,000 new real listings straight from the pros every month, that's a lot of chances to find the place you've been dreaming of. Whether you're searching for a 2-story mid-century with a pool or a little extra space with a spa-inspired bathroom, Realtor.com can help you find it today. So quit hitting that snooze button. Realtor.com isn't sleeping on finding your dream home, and neither should you. Download the Realtor.com app today, 'cause you're nearly home. Make it real with Realtor.com.
Pro's #1 most trusted app based on August 2024 proprietary survey. Over 500,000 new listings every month based on average new for sale and rental listings. February 2024 through January 2025.
Coach in Miami, back to the NFL. Dolphins fired Mike McDaniel. He went 35-33. Pretty good, 7-10 this year, but missed the playoffs. Dolphins ranks under Mike McDaniel. First 2 years, things are pretty good. That's when I became a believer in 2023. Total yards per game. This first two was balling.
That was one of the first times you ever yelled at
70.
For what?
Because I was like, I don't believe in Tua, and I think he's an injury risk. And you were like, oh, I like leading the league in passing, and he's an Iron Man. And you just remember smoking an Iron Man.
What's your headline here for this firing? I can start you off if you want. Mike McDaniel of Philadelphia, but go whatever direction you want.
I got and this is tongue-in-cheek, but McDaniel beaten by Harbaugh again.
Oh.
The Ravens beat them in the season. Like, I know all the reporting, and they're reporting it, so I'm not talking to anybody about this, but all the reporting is that this is not related at all to John Harbaugh, that they haven't even really talked to him. But a couple days ago, when Harbaugh was still the Ravens coach, not only was McDaniel going to be their head coach and had met with the owner, but he was going to be involved, coach, in looking for the new GM. Now, what changed? You know, Harbaugh obviously got fired, and one of the guys they're talking to, at least for GM, has a relationship with Harbaugh. So, and I wouldn't blame him for, wanting John Harbaugh, but here's what I want for the Ravens. They've interviewed, or they're going to interview Brian Flores of the reports, Robert Saleh. I like both of those guys. I'd prefer Flores as the head coach and Mike McDaniel as the offensive coordinator. I can't imagine what he would scheme up having Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. We saw Achane was one of the leading rushers, and he was a good running back, but he's not Derrick Henry. And Tua obviously had great success under McDaniel to some degree. Now
both Dolphins coaches.
Yeah, that's the thing. Now, if it was Saleh and McDaniel worked together in San Francisco. If it was Saleh and McDaniel, I'd be fine with that too. But McDaniel as an OC with Lamar, I think would be hot.
Yeah, I don't know if this is purely Harbaugh related or not, but it is hard to go and get a GM if you have a head coach in place, because which GM is going to want to come knowing that you've got to keep the head coach, so you don't even get to make the most important decision that you're going to make as a GM. So I think that becomes challenging. So maybe Steve Ross took a look at that or talked to his consultants and said, hey, we need to clean this up. It could be Harbaugh related. In terms of Mike McDaniel, we talk about Saleh potentially being a head coaching candidate. Saleh went 20-36 with the Jets, okay? Mike McDaniel had a winning record at the Dolphins. Mike McDaniel took the Dolphins to the playoffs 2 years in a row, which is the first time that happened in 20 years. When he got there, Tua was considered a bust. The next 2 years, Tua had great seasons, and then granted, his production came down, but he went from being an absolute bust that people thought, maybe they need to move on from him, to suddenly becoming, I don't know if he finished top 7 in the MVP voting like your guy, but he
probably did.
He was definitely in the mix. Yeah. So, and I also think Mike has a contract through 2028, so he could easily either take some time off if he wanted to do that. If he wants to go be an offensive coordinator somewhere, great. But you see, after a year of people decompressing, suddenly Saleh, who is in the same division as Mike McDaniel and got beat by him a bunch, he's now a head coaching candidate. And Mike, who has a winning record and did something that hadn't been done at Dolphins, he'll be in the mix again soon too.
I think he could. I think he theoretically could be in the mix this cycle.
Yeah, possibly.
Listen. I think he is a brilliant offensive mind. That doesn't necessarily make you a great head coach, but I want to ask you about that in a second. I think that probably the offensive systems are too different. But I said this 2 months ago on this. It might have been off the air actually, but that I'd love for the Kansas City Chiefs to call him and say, "Hey, come be our offensive coordinator," which under Andy is always a little tricky because Andy's head coach and that. But run game designer, everything, and get the glow of what I think would be a bounce back year with Patrick next season, and then maybe go
that's
get
how
another job.
Done it
That's
with
right.
the 1 year as a coordinator.
Exactly right. The question I have though is this, because I like Mike McDaniel's kind of quirkiness, if you will. I also think he's obviously brilliant schematically, offensively, and I think he was a victim kind of his own success early with Tua, which is he made Tua look so good they paid him, and then it ended up being a bit of an albatross for the team. But all the reports about what I would just call a flippant lack of respect for the head coach concern me. You know what I mean? The lateness and the way Tyreek, that wasn't even reporting. We saw it the way he acted.
But is that a Miami thing?
So that's what this is where I'm going to ask kind of an uncomfortable question. Is it that he is always going to have trouble in getting, if things aren't going great, getting football players to respect him? I think there's a reason that Robert Saleh instantly commands respect, and some of it is a big, tough, strong guy in the room of a room full of football players.
Liam Cohen.
But Liam's a big guy. It just feels like he is. I don't know. It felt like he was getting walked all over in Miami.
He's a brilliant, bookish guy.
And
Belichick wasn't going to win any UFC fight.
No, but they won.
No, I understand. Yeah. I understand that. But my point is, what players respect is someone that can help you be better at your craft. Players respect someone that help you can be as successful as possible, and if that happens, then you get paid a lot of money. So part of this could be he didn't get to choose the players. And when you bring in players with challenges from a character perspective, and you start loading the locker room with guys like that, you're going to have a lot of incidents. And then it's going to look like this guy has no control. Then the second thing is, did he have control? Could he find guys? Could he suspend guys? Or was that the GM's purview? And that's why the GM got canned first, is because he brought in these guys and then didn't discipline these guys. So there's a function of how much power do you really have to enforce the things you believe in. And then respect is all about, can you make me as successful as I can be at my craft? And if you can do that, it doesn't matter how old you are, what you look like, how much you weigh, dudes will be like, I'm all in.
Also, at the end of the season, when it was over for them, they played their last 6-7 games, they played hard for him.
Fighting.
So it made me think they really like him.
One final note, the Lions did reach out. Mike McDaniel and Dan Campbell.
I think that would be perfect.
Oh, that'd be smart.
I think that would be perfect.
That'd be smart.
Jameer Gibbs and
that would be
unbelievable.
Excellent.
I think
that would
perfect.
be great. Yeah.
I didn't know that happened. That would be excellent.
Live from New York. See, it's the show that likes Mike McDaniel in Detroit a lot.
A lot. I think that's a perfect fit. I also think he and Dan Campbell doing a little redux of that Schwarzenegger DeVito movie. Remember that? Yeah. Pretty good. It's Halloween. It goes as Halloween.
That would look quite interesting, them standing next to each other.
Not that small of a guy.
Like a buddy cop.
Yeah, exactly.
Second hour, first things first. Today, will Drake Maye look like the MVP on Sunday, or will he just totally melt down like the Wizard of Oz? Meanwhile, Jerry Jones reveals his number one goal before he retires. Spoiler alert: multiple Super Bowls. The winningest NFL owner ever.
Four.
He needs four.
He needs four. They might get the next four.
No. Never say never. But right now, it's time for the most motivational segment in all of sports. Also time where we read viewer mail. Christina, thank you very much for going to the post office. Physical mail. Dear Wilds, love the show. And the latest showcase from the best actor on the show, and maybe in all of sports or sports television, Chris Broussard. Are you, Nick, and Coach Mangini ready to admit that he's a great actor, even though his IMDb page does say Chris Broussard as self in #reality? Hi, cheers, Ryan and Brian. I'll let you go first.
What do you...
Are you ready to admit that Brew is an excellent
There's no
actor?
ready to admit. I've always said
That's Denzel.
he's not only is he a great actor, he fools you with misdirection basically every time. It proves he's a great actor. So yeah.
And I respect the depth that he has. He can go serious. He can go comedy. There's so many layers to the way that he presents his characters. To me, that's what moves me.
Yeah. Is playing himself is the only pushback.
But he plays himself.
I don't know that I was myself in hashtag. I was a reporter, but my name was Jackson Blade. I mean,
are you sure?
No, I didn't have a name.
It was not.
I was just a reporter.
On
but it wasn't myself. I was just a
love
reporter.
that name for you.
I thought it would fit, so
Jackson Blade.
He's an improv specialist.
I got comedy too. I can do comedy too.
Time for the button.
All right, here we go. Here we go. All right. I said, Coach, at the top of the show that Trevor Lawrence was on the
bubble of the
Bud list. He was about to be on the Bud list, Nick. But then I thought about our conversation a few days ago about Drake Maye. And then I looked in the comments.
Oh, gee whiz.
Scorching. Ouch. The comments, Coach, were harsh on Kevin Wilds. And so it hit me that, you know what? Kevin Wilds has actually put his guy, Drake Maye, under more duress.
Yes.
There's like a target on Drake Maye now.
Yeah, people are like, I'm going to hate watching him.
Yeah. I mean, if he's a second-year player, first full season, start. It's house money, right? First time they make the playoffs, everything is good no matter what happens.
Who knows?
But now he actually has to go out there and play well and win. So you have put the target on his back. And I will say this to Drake. Seize the day, young man.
Ooh,
Seize the day. Carpe diem. Look, Joe Burrow was in the Super Bowl his second year. Hasn't been back to the playoffs in 4 years, let alone the Super Bowl. Jaden Daniels last year. Conference championship. As a rookie, I know he got injured, but still, things have totally changed there in Washington. So you never know. This is the chance, and the field is wide open, as we've all said, Drake, for you to get it done. We know your guy, Kevin Wilds, believes in you. I believe in you, too.
Oh, good.
All right, at number 2, Justin Herbert. So obviously somebody on this week's Bud list is going down, and they're going to lose and be disappointed. But, Justin, you can lose. You're the 7th seed after all. 7 seeds are 1-9 in the playoffs, so it wouldn't be the worst thing. However, you got to play well. You can't have another stinker. Your first playoff game, you had one of the epic collapses in modern football history. Your second playoff game last year, you threw 4 interceptions. So you have to go out there and at least play well, if not win the game. Here's the thing, Justin, you have earned a ton of respect. You had a lot of respect already, but you've earned even more with the toughness you've shown this year, playing with the broken hand. The offensive line is in disarray. You've been sacked more than anybody, and you've gotten your team to 11 wins. Don't let that all go down the drain, because if you play poorly, it will be he can't get it done. Now we know. 3 straight games in the playoffs, he can't get it done. Justin, I do believe in you, so go out there and cook. All right, at number 1, Josh Allen. Wow. Honestly, Josh Allen could be number 1 on the Bud list for as long as his season lasts. I mean, let's just keep it real, because it is inescapable that these playoffs are really about him more than any other individual. Josh, and you won't be number 1 on the Bud list every week. I'm just putting that out there, but you could be. But you are already viewed as an all-time great, certainly a Hall of Famer. Some people view you as the best player in football, but you have got to go and make that perception now reality. All right, and so that means you have got to obviously win this game. You really got to win several of these games, if not the Super Bowl. But you have to win this game by going out there and playing well. I get it. You're the 6th seed, but you still are the best quarterback in the AFC. If not, that's some would say left in the whole playoffs. Lamar is gone. Joe Burrow's gone. Patrick Mahomes, who's been your kryptonite, is gone. You're facing a 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers and a bunch of young up-and-comers. So no one is going to say, oh, they were the 6th seed. Oh, what do you expect from Josh? You won 12 games. All right, you have got to go out there and cook and win this game against Trevor Lawrence. Because Trevor Lawrence, who has some similarities to Josh in terms of they're big, the build, he is athletic and can run, though not as well as Josh. Some might start looking at him as that next Josh Allen type quarterback if he beats you and has a run in these playoffs. So, Josh, I believe in you.
Excellent.
Go ahead and get it done.
I mean, Coach, you're always a fan of the Bud List. How did you like this episode?
That's playoff caliber right there.
You got to step it up. It's what did Jalen Hurts say? It might be in you.
Oh,
it's in you. It's just in you.
It is in you, just like Jackson Blade is in you. The outstanding list as always, but I'm going to add Caleb Williams to the list. And here's why. So Chicago's lost 3 out of their last 5 games, including 2 in a row, and they were trying to win. Okay, now you're playing Green Bay, and the first time you played Green Bay, you threw the pick in the end zone to end the game. So that's what happened. Then the second time you played Green Bay, there's no Jordan Love, and it takes a miracle for you guys to win that game. And now when you talk about, how you feel about things, he said he hasn't been nervous in a game since a game in high school that he had. Since then, he's never been nervous for games. That's amazing to me. He's built for these moments. That's great. And then as a team, they're talking about not just this game, they're talking about the next 5 weeks. So they're talking about the games in the future. So, I'd probably be a little nervous about a Green Bay team that I barely beat with, an act of God, but he's not. So that's good. And I think there's a place. I think confidence is great, and it's important. But I think bravado and lack of perspective is really dangerous, especially your first time dealing with the playoffs.
I agree with that, Coach. I think that makes a lot of sense. That is reminiscent of how, and I'm not even throwing shade at Caleb, but how he came into the league. We're never going to punt. Seriously though.
It is.
A 6th best quarterback in the league, going to the Super Bowl, some people were saying.
Yeah, don't worry, you won't have to punt.
Right. So
I've seen a few punts from
That was a private text. He didn't tweet it. Whatever.
Oh, gee whiz, I'm sorry. It's 4:10 on a Thursday. It means you're in for a real treat. It's time for another episode of the Sports Media Ombudsman, a little segment within a segment.
Wow, KW, you don't even have to do that anymore.
That's out of the kindness of my own heart.
Very nice. New year, new him.
Yeah.
All right. So, we talk about market size in relation to sports coverage a lot.
Yeah.
And what are you
already? He loves it.
Coach must know what
It's got to be good.
And I think that is very, very relevant in baseball, for instance, because there's no salary cap. So the teams with big markets have more revenue. They have an inherent advantage.
Yeah. You're a little market. You could charge $4 for tickets, and you don't have to play stadiums. Not like the Yankees,
like out in Kansas or Missouri, right?
Sorry. Saying.
The NBA does have a salary cap. However, it's such a superstar-driven league, and it seems like super rich, famous young people might prefer living in cities like Los Angeles, New York, or Miami to, say, Milwaukee or Memphis. So it's a real advantage there. That is not really the case in the NFL. Who has been in the AFC, for instance, the team of the decade? The Kansas City Chiefs. Anybody care about the Chiefs prior to Patrick Mahomes getting there? I did. Not much else did. If it hasn't been the Chiefs this decade, who has it been? The Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo is small, but not just by like major sports market size. Buffalo's just a small market in general. But Josh Allen's there. They win a lot. Sure. We pay attention. It's New York Jets and New York Giants who actually play in New Jersey, number 1 market by a mile. We don't talk about them at all because they don't win. So the Jacksonville Jaguars have a very interesting opportunity starting this weekend. They can force sports media to care about Jacksonville. Now, I know Kevin Wildes is on the record saying nobody cares about Jacksonville.
Well,
and other folks, and listen, and the data that I referenced, and the internet thinks like I revealed a secret. They're like, there is a conspiracy not to talk about the Jags. Nick said the executives told him not to. The executives didn't tell specifically about the Jags. They're like, hey, bad teams that nobody cares about shouldn't be big topics, even though you love the quarterback. But once they start being good teams, then it doesn't matter where you live.
Correct.
And all of a sudden, you beat the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. Trevor Lawrence has real pedigree. Trevor Lawrence, I think when they get Travis Hunter back next year, he's a real star, like, crossover type of star. There is no reason Jacksonville can't be similar to Buffalo or Kansas City in that a small market that becomes an A-list team. And if that happens,
start playing most of your games in America.
I've been waiting, because I've believed in the Jags since these hats were cool.
I'm not sure those hats are a thing anymore.
Exactly. This is to prove my bona fide. Do you know what that says?
The prince that
was promised.
When did you get that?
Exactly. 4 years ago.
No.
Yes. 4 years I've had this in my office, waiting for the moment.
Have you seen it?
No.
What?
I've never seen that.
Right. And you know why you haven't seen it? Because they're not in vogue anymore, and I missed my moment. I thought. But I'm telling you, Duval, I've been there. I've been waiting to break out the prince that was promised big hat. This has got to be a one of one in the world. I've got custom made 4 years ago after the third greatest comeback in playoff history. I had this thing made, waiting to put it on. So you can become the next thing, Jacksonville. And just remember when you do, remember who was there with you back when these were cool? This guy, sports media ombudsman.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes I get
more than I bargained for.
I get messages. I'm like, how can I have a career in sports?
They ask you that?
Yeah, often, because I've got, a wealth of experience. Yeah. That might be an example of a segment going off the rails. You start off talking like small. I'm like, this is gonna be
interesting. Yeah, where's he going?
This isn't even your thing. You're just indicting my thing.
No, but then it ended with you wearing one of those hats from 5 years ago.
Yeah, I know. To prove to people I've been with you, Jacksonville.
I'm putting Jalen Hurts on the bud list. We are in solid staying together for the kids category between Jalen Hurts and his OC. As an example, once you have a bunch of married friends, I know you got your wife. Do you want a nice present? Okay, you got your wife a nice ring.
Yeah.
If you showed that,
talk about the gifts I give my wife, just not my girlfriend.
if your wife showed my wife that ring, like, I think you'd talk like, wow, what a beautiful ring. You don't have to jam in there like, Kevin would never do anything like that to me. Like, right. It's just, you see some like unnecessary shots. So here's Jalen Hurts on a very simple question. Did his decline in running keep him healthy for this playoff run? Take a listen.
This is great.
The season's just kind of gone the way it has. The approach this year and how the games have been called. With this coordinator, with Coach KP, it's just kind of going that way. And so I'm just kind of taking it in stride and try to give my best for whatever position I've been put in.
Okay, not great. Just whatever position. He's a Super Bowl MVP, reigning Super Bowl champion. So here's just the data on how many times he was running this year versus playoff career. So his rushes per game this year, 6.6. Playoff career goes up. Rushing yards per game this year, 26. Goes up to 42. 8 touchdowns in 16 games in his playoff career. 10 touchdowns in 9 games. So maybe he'll just turn it on like he's been fresh the whole year. He'll start running more, similar to sort of a story we had with Mahomes, saving himself, willing to take maybe a little bit more punishment now that the game's stakes are a little bit higher. But I did think it was interesting that he doesn't seem thrilled with the play calling so far with his OC.
Looks like he put his OC on the bud list.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a, just like Coach said, like when you're at the podium as the coach, there's a reason behind everything you're saying. I don't think that's the case for every player. I do think that's the case for a player as buttoned up
yes.
You know what I mean? Jalen Hurts
He
is
doesn't
not.
say things off the cuff.
No. Correct.
Right.
And so it felt intentional, which I'm not criticizing him
But
for.
look, we all see it. Their play calling has been a problem.
I just wonder, we'll close out the Bud list in a second, but I wonder like the final thing that he said, like the position I've been put in, why he doesn't have more agency over the game plan, play calling. It's like, I wouldn't imagine Mahomes saying something like that. He is an elite quarterback and a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah,
not a rookie quarterback.
To me, that is surprising. A couple of things are surprising. So every week, throughout the course of the week, the quarterback and the offensive coordinator are working on the call sheet. So if there's plays the quarterback doesn't want, they get thrown out. If there's plays the quarterback wants, they get bumped up the call list. And usually the head coach, especially if he's an offensive guy, he's going to sit in on some of those meetings too. So when you get to Sunday, everybody's in lockstep in terms of the direction it's going, because the last thing you want is calling plays that the quarterback doesn't believe in, because they don't execute that the same way. And it has to be a collaborative effort. What I don't love about this is saying this before a playoff game, because as much as I get on A.J. Brown for creating unnecessary pressure or conflict, why bring this up now, or why even kind of hint about that now? Why not make that an off-season thing so you're going into the playoffs with the best possible attitude?
But it doesn't seem like he, to your point, KW, has maybe as much say as he would like. And I'm basing that really just off the cuff, but I'm sure accurate, statements from Herbstreit and Michaels about Jalen Hurts not liking the tush push.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That when they said during the, we were talking to Jalen, he was like, man, I was good at this before we did the tush push, and then Michaels added maybe he shouldn't have, but he's Al Michaels, so he can do whatever he wanted. He was like, and we got the impression he wouldn't mind if that thing got banned himself. and so that to me was informative as well.
I could see why he wouldn't love to play. Like, who would love getting pushed by 600 pounds into a big pile of, when you're the quarterback? Not great.
Jerry Jones, great Bud list.
Great, as always.
Jackson
4 more
Blade.
Super Bowls.
Jerry Jones wants 4 more Super Bowl next.
Walmart Business saves you time, money, and hassle, which means you can focus on what really matters. Like putting the money you save back into what you do, spending more time training your team, filling orders, and finding new clients. Anything and everything, right down to, oh, that's one, choosing the best hold music. Walmart Business. It's the Walmart you love, now for your business. Learn more at business.walmart.com.
My goal in life is to retire as the owner that won the most Super Bowls. That's my goal. To be retired in the NFL as the owner that won the most Super Bowls. We've got 3. How many more do I have to go as a single owner? Bob's got how many? 6? So I've got
work to do.
Got work to do. I got work to do, but at least I'm up to the second rung in the ladder.
Your reaction.
I mean, that was
his reaction.
I mean, it's nice to have goals.
Yeah.
But if I were a Cowboy fan, that would irritate me.
Yeah.
Because it would feel flippant about the fact that we have not been a game away from being a game away in 30 years.
Yeah.
And if I were a Cowboys fan and I heard, I will feel like I have failed despite my 3 Super Bowls. I will feel like I have failed as owner of the Cowboys if I only get 3. Yeah, I said that awkwardly.
Like
you know what I mean? If I don't win
more.
another one, like that it has been too like with that, but instead he says something that is close to a literal impossibility. Right. In order for that to become reality, it would mean the Cowboys are about to rip off the greatest run in NFL history. 4 Super Bowls in the next
8 years. You know what I mean? Or whatever it would be. It is what we're talking about here. So I mean, I think it's ludicrous. Is my real reaction to it.
Yeah, and then for Mr. Kraft, the 6 that he has, and then there's 3 losses, right? He had one with 2 with Bill and 1 with Big Bill.
Yep.
So there's 9.
Never heard him called that. I
Bill
like
Parcells?
that. Bill Parcells, Big Bill. I like that.
When they were together, it was always Bill and Big Bill and Little Bill. Yeah. So there's 9 of those, and he hasn't been. We just talked about it, 30 years. So to me, if you have a goal, which I think is great, and it hasn't worked out in 30 years, you would think at different points you'd say, okay, let me try something radically different here, and I guess when you've been as successful as he's been in other areas, you just assume that success is going to translate to all areas, but it hasn't. So at some point, to realistically achieve this, you might have to take a step back and say, we need to try something different. And I don't see what's being tried differently this year versus every other year.
That's where I was going, Coach. His goal really is to be the GM or president who wins the most Super Bowls. Yeah. Because if his goal was to be just the owner that wins the most Super Bowls, he would hire or let his son or hire some football people and get away. You're still the owner, but just let it go, right? And the Hunts, how much football stuff are they doing with the Chiefs? I don't think Kraft, how much, so like let it go. But he, just like he stated, my goal, it was all about him, not the fans, not the team. That's the problem. Look, they all over those 30 years where they've been the only NFC team not to reach the conference championship game. You've had different quarterbacks, different skilled position players, different coaches, different everything. The one constant has been Jerry Jones. And I've been saying it. I think he's just created a culture where they're more of an entertainment entity. They're more of, this dramatic soap opera than they are a football franchise. And so, I mean, that's only a little more realistic than me saying my goal in life is to win an Oscar. I mean,
wow, you're selling yourself short.
That is on the board. That is on the board.
I'm just saying, real like
you got a chance on the board, bro.
Maybe I got more of a chance than him.
Can I just show one of my favorite graphics?
Yes, I love this graphic as well.
So gold medals mean you won the Super Bowl. Silver medals mean you lost the Super Bowl. Bronze medals mean you lost the conference championship game. This is 30 years, guys. The Cowboys are the only team in the conference without a medal. The Eagles in their division, 2 golds, 2 silvers, 4 bronzes. So the Eagles have been to 8 conference championship games in the last 30 years.
I think when you debuted this, the Lions and
Commanders were also at 0s. Yes, that is correct. Because I debuted this 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, whatever it was. The Lions and the Commanders have been in the last 2 years. The Cowboys. So while the Cowboys have had, it's also a bummer graphic in a weird way for the Niners, who in the last 30 years have been to 3 Super Bowls, been to 5 other conference championship games, and haven't won one. Mm-hmm. The Cowboys have been one of the best, I think they're top 6 in the NFL over the last 30 years in regular season win percentage. But in their conference, no team's been further. It feels impossible, but everyone except for the Vikings, Commanders, and Lions have played in the Super Bowl. Only 3 other teams haven't played in the Super Bowl. The Vikings have been a game away 4 times, and one of those teams, one of the best teams I've ever seen, the 98 Vikings. Commanders and Lions just finally, appear to be, getting to that level in the last few years.
And they've had quarterbacks. It's not like
that's
the
other
Dolphins that are just like we haven't been able to.
No,
you've had 2 really good quarterbacks.
You've had back-to-back what I would call Hall of very good quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like Tony Romo and Dak, both are going to fall short of being Hall of Famers, but both were perennial top 10
And you had Parcells there at one point as a head coach, and he won Super Bowls or went to Super Bowls.
Wild.
Yep.
For 2 different organizations.
Hey, it's good to have gold.
Also, we shortchanged Kraft to Super Bowl. The loss to the Eagles with Tom.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So 10.
I think we have now.
He's been
Nick
been
Foles.
Yeah.
I also erased that from my memory.
Yeah,
it's okay.
2 Giants and Nick Foles.
Chargers, Patriots. Yesterday, we had the Patriots and Mike Vrabel giving Herbert lots of compliments. Today, it's Herbert giving Drake Maye compliments. Take a listen.
He's a very talented player. Every time you check on the scores, he has a big game. So I got a lot of respect for him as a quarterback.
Coach, you expect Drake Maye to look like the MVP in his very first playoff game?
I think that's going to be really challenging for him, and because
Says that with no evidence. This guy.
No evidence. let me show a little bit of the evidence. I don't know if we can pull up the graphic here.
I'm here.
To show what he's facing. So they're tied for 3rd in interceptions. They're tied for 4th in the red zone. They're tied for 5th in pass yards per game. Tied for 9th in appointed points per game, and then 10th in sacks at 45. So it's a daunting list of categories that they're really good in. And the one that concerns me a lot is the sacks. And with Drake, he's done a better job of not being sacked as much, but he was still one of the highest sacked quarterbacks in the NFL. I think he's gotten better at that, but that concerned me, and from the start of the season, that's been a concern of mine with him. Where I feel good about it is I do think Josh will have a lot of wide receiver screens, tight end screens, back screens, quick passes, hard sell play action that's max protection to give him shots on the field. Josh, I imagine, is going to protect him and try to get him in some kind of rhythm so that he can feel comfortable, and then when that happens, there's a potential to really make some impressive plays. But this is going to be really daunting for him.
Yeah, look, I agree with what you said, Coach. I'm not expecting him to light it up and have some superstar game. However, I'm going to give you something that'll boost your optimism.
I don't think it could be
pretty high. I'm trying to take me down a peg.
Recently, there have been a lot of young quarterbacks to play well in their first playoff game.
Yes.
Jordan Love had a 157.
Right. He was amazing.
Passer rating, right? 3 touchdowns, 272 yards in beating Dallas when they had won 16
Problem is,
straight.
that was a 7-2, so that kind of.
Yeah, but the Cowboys had won 16 straight at home.
Okay, right. And he's first playoff game.
Huge upset.
Jaden Daniels last year, 110 passer rating, 2 touchdowns, 268 yards in his first playoff game. Yeah. Brock Purdy, 131 passer rating, 332 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in his first playoff game. And then C.J. Stroud, 157 passer rating, 274 yards, 3 touchdowns, no. So it doesn't mean obviously they've had some bad playoff games after that, but the first playoff game, that should make you feel good.
This is why you are the heart and soul of the show, Brew, because you have been banging on the I'm worried about the experience drum for a long time. But then you went and twisted it and gave me a compliment because Josh had pulled this graphic, won a playoff game, QB in their first or second year. Mahomes, for a while, was the exception to the rule. There was 1 out of 10 guys from 2014 to 2020, 5 of 9. We do count Trevor there. He had a rough first half.
What do you mean? We
had a rough first half.
When you say we do count,
it was
questionable.
It was rough first half.
You leave that one out. It's a fact.
I feel very confident in Drake, and I felt like I didn't do a great job explaining how confident I was.
You did.
Accused you of being a simpleton because you just counted up Matthew Stafford's touchdowns, and you said, this number is bigger than this number, and he's the MVP. So I decided to take a page out of your book. Got into the analytics a little bit, like to show you this graphic. This is Drake Maye's. You can go full with that if you want.
If any of us, I wish
this is his total.
Is that
this
is Drake Maye's total EPA on one axis and CPOE.
So tell me what. I'm sorry, KW.
Yeah, completion percentage over expected.
And what's EPA stand for?
Expected points added.
And so what do those mean?
Good job.
Well, exactly.
What do they mean?
It's all relative to all the other quarterbacks quarterbacks, and then this is it's adjusted for location and depth of target.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
A lot of times they don't adjust for depth of
Yeah, they
target.
leave
This
that
one
out a lot.
is adjusted. Highest single season mark at 10.8%, full 2% better than the second highest, Aaron Rodgers in 2011. So I think this will put any discussion about Drake Maye's success in the playoffs or MVP really to bed. Mic drop. You're welcome. Did you love that?
I'm not. I'm more of a feel guy. You're more the numbers guy.
Obviously,
and
and
analytics.
charts.
I just wish you. I don't know what I'm seeing, so I just wish you could explain it to me.
Put it back up. How did you not see that?
No,
I
like
thought you
what
did
is
a great job.
like
He's the best.
Yeah, I understand, but like, how do they like calculate EPA? Are they like guessing?
Calculate it.
Yeah, like how
He's
do they
the best.
know? Oh. I'm just trying to learn.
How do they calculate, earthquakes?
The Richter scale?
Yeah, but what is going into it?
You'd have to ask a
Yeah, but
seismologist.
all I know is if it's the biggest, I don't stop down and be like, well, is it? Show me the calculations. And if it's a little tremor, like on the bottom left, and stuff's just falling, chandelier's shaking,
You're okay.
Can I?
but if it's the best,
Yeah.
Can I tell you something?
holy cow, he's number
Impressive,
one.
Can I?
Wild.
'cause
Way
I know
up
we have
there.
to move on.
Impressive.
This is the Kevin Wilde's America's Grown to Love.
This is
The kind of
2009.
dumb and funny one.
That,
Not
What? EPA times
not-
CPOE since
so bad.
09, dude.
Not-
Since 09.
Not
single season. Since 09.
Well, it is single
Really good.
seasons, but it's
Yeah, but all
of
the seasons. It's not just Matthew Stafford. There's so many quarterbacks on that thing.
Brady's in
And
there,
depth of
Mahomes
target.
in
Don't go
there,
in.
yeah.
Is this depth of target? A lot of them will sell you ones without depth of target. I told you. Boom! I'm back.
nice.
I'm back in a major
good
way.
job.
You are.
You are. Bills at Jags. Sunday at 1. The Prince versus the guy who can go Superman mode. Brew, will ask you this one. Do the Bills need to unleash Josh Allen to win this game on Sunday?
If I'm the Bills, I go into this game with a conservative game plan early on. I'm throwing to the tight ends. I'm running James Cook a lot. And I'm seeing, can we get control of the game that way? If we don't have control, it's nip and tuck, or God forbid I'm behind, that's when I'm unleashing the dog, so to speak, and letting Josh go Superman mode and seeing if I don't want to get behind, don't get me wrong. But if we can't get control of the game conservatively, then I'm going to have to let him go ahead in Superman mode.
Well, Jags are first against the run, which is going to be problematic, and they haven't been very good in terms of pressuring the quarterback, sacking the quarterback. They're 29th. They're low again in pass defense. They're 21st in pass defense. The game plays out, or should play out, where it becomes a passing game. Now, where I have real concerns is similar to what we were talking about with New England. They're very good in terms of interceptions. They're very good in terms of takeaways. And that, if Josh goes too extreme and tries to go, similar to the style we've seen in the past where he takes those chances that he shouldn't take, this is a team that can actually capitalize on that. So it's striking a balance of, it's got to be pass first, just based off of how they're built, Jacksonville built, and how good they are at certain things. But the chances he takes, this is a team that can actually make him pay for it.
Listen, I agree with that, but I also, and I said a version of this earlier, but I'm going to repeat it. I find some of the way we vacillate between, in our Josh Allen discussion, we as a media, deification and patronizing. Like he's playing the position at the highest level I've ever seen. There were a lot of people, and I went at him, and maybe I ended up was wrong. Before the year, I argued with our pal Bill about this. Before the season started, he was like, Josh Allen's the best player in the league. And I was aghast. I was like, Patrick just beat him. Like how he's like, he's the best player in the league. Whenever he's had these monster games, we talk about, is he going to get in the MVP conversation? Best player in the league. And then the patronization part of it is talk about like, don't ask him to do too much. Make sure he doesn't make the mistakes. Now listen, the Bills aren't a perfect team. It is not a failure. It is not an indictment if he does not carry this team to the Super Bowl. but this is his opportunity. This could be his moment. And it is for a player who is discussed, I don't think this is hyperbolic, in terms of one of, if not the most physically overall gifted player ever at that position. He's at least discussed in that ballpark.
Sure.
It is not too much to say, Josh, here's our plan. We are going to unleash you. We are going to ask for the wow plays, and we need you to also not turn the ball over. If he doesn't do it, he doesn't do it. I'm not going to come on here on Monday and be like, Josh Allen's a fraud. But this is his path. He has an opportunity right now, this moment, for it to be conventional, almost not debated wisdom that going into next season, that's the best player in the league. He has that opportunity this postseason to go do that. And you do that through greatness.
Nick, I'm just saying there's a difference between taking chances and being reckless.
Right.
And I think that he needs to take chances, but he can't be reckless because this is a team that can make you pay if you're reckless.
Totally agree. But that is his responsibility as a near 30-year-old veteran MVP quarterback to be able to thread that needle.
He's earned, you're right, I agree, you go from deification to patronizing. But that's because you usually have the graphic, but he is the roller coaster. It is what it is. So
what would a win mean for Aaron Rodgers? That's next on First Things First on FS1.
I had that dream again. My small business needs to hire, but I don't use LinkedIn, and I hire wrong. So then I'm doing IT, and when I go to plug the servers in, they become sentient, and they won't let us access our network unless we forward their chain emails and memes to more and more and more people, and then I wake up.
Don't let hiring nightmares ruin your dreams. LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant finds and invites best fit candidates to apply, so you can discover talent you may have missed. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/quality. Start hiring today with LinkedIn.
Wild Card Weekend sponsored by Verizon. Saturday. Coverage begins at 3 o'clock. Rams against Bryce and Coach's Panthers. I feel
frisky, Panthers.
I feel frisky
They are
about
frisky.
that. Cam is back in the house. Did you hear this?
Oh, I didn't.
Cam will be on the drum.
Oh,
That's Pete pounding. It's really cool. Sunday, 49ers in Philly. That one's at 4. Again, all on Fox. Welcome back to First Things First. Right now, we are headed to Pittsburgh. Texans favorites over Mike Tomlin on Monday, and Aaron Rodgers looking for his first playoff win in years. Nick, what would a win in this situation mean for Aaron Rodgers?
Well, first of all, he would be square with Tomlin. I feel like he owes Tomlin one. In that, I don't think Aaron had a ton of good options this summer. I know we feel like he would have thrived in Minnesota, and given that JJ once again dealt with injuries, maybe that would have been a fine spot. But Minnesota was going to JJ McCarthy at the beginning of the year. It did not feel to me like there were a lot of viable playoff teams that wanted Aaron Rodgers to come in. Tomlin very clearly did and waited for him. That long process. And the way to pay that back, if you will, is to get this monkey off Tomlin's back. And you know what I mean? By break this playoff drought, I think remove any question about Tomlin's job security by winning this game. So I think that's the first thing. And the second thing, Coach, is it would, for I think most people, fully erase the Jets chapter. Yeah. From his part of the story. Yeah. And this is a bit of an awkward juxtaposition because you were so intimately involved. And Brett Favre's end of time with the Jets didn't go great because he was hurt and everything that happened with it. But because he got that one great season in Minnesota, that's not, you know what I mean? People think of, to me, they think of Favre the Packer, the great year in Minnesota, and that's it. And I wonder if something similar can happen to Aaron if they win this game. Because if they win this game, people will believe they can go to Denver potentially if that's the matchup and win.
Yes.
And if that's not the matchup, then it's too hard to figure who they'd be playing. But I think they will give them a real shot against anybody in round 2 if they win this game.
Yeah, just so we understand, I did go 9-7 that year.
I do think of Favre
but it was
early
unfair,
on. Before he got hurt, he was playing great.
So, and I was happy that Brett was able to do what he was able to do after that. And I think if he had stayed healthy, things could have been different. I've been as hard on Aaron Rodgers as anybody during that Jets time, but it would erase that. And I think it's ironic the Jets are paying him or $20 million on their cap this year, where Pittsburgh's paying him 14. So that's great. But the way that he's been this year, to me, I think is how I envision a great player at the end of his career. He's now working with the wide receivers, both in the building, outside of the building. He seems to be very comfortable being part of the team, as opposed to having to be the center point of the team. It's not about doing the interviews every week. He's not creating any controversy, and he's played, better than I expected him to. Especially, I didn't know how he would fit with Arthur Smith and how that relationship would unfold. So I'm really excited for him because he's had an amazing career. He is a Hall of Fame player, and you want to see guys like that end it on a high note, and he's got the potential to do that. And he's, to me, changed a lot in terms of his approach at the Jets versus how he's been now.
Well, look, if they lose, then he kind of goes out assuming this would be his last year. Blah. Not this wasn't terrible. They made the playoffs, but it was like you just did what Russell Wilson and Justin Fields did the year before. So kind of blah. If he wins, it's not quite Favre in Minnesota, but he would go out, like let's say they won and then lost the next game. If he retires, goes out on a high note. Like people will remember he got the Steelers their first Super Bowl or first playoff win since 2016. They couldn't get over the hump. He got them over the hump. And it also opens the door, because I think if they beat Houston, why can't they beat anybody in the AFC? Houston's beat Buffalo, Jacksonville. It opens the door for him really to go out in a blaze of glory. It also opens the door for next season. If he wins this game, if I'm Indianapolis, maybe Minnesota.
Why not Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh again.
Yeah, I mean, Brew, he doesn't sound like a guy that wants to retire.
He sounds like he's actually having fun again.
Yeah,
enjoying the experience.
I don't think he plans on retiring. I did think that before. I don't think that after his comments when he was like, I bet there's one or two teams that would like to have me. I don't think he necessarily plans to retire. And maybe he's planning to come back in Pittsburgh.
Live from New York, it's First Things First overtime. Today, is Josh Allen going to outplay the Prince? And Nick debuts a huge hat. Meanwhile, special edition of Frenemies.
Can't wait.
Is someone here predicting an Eagles blowout? Ooh, stick around. And finally, a new edition of Eye Test features a large magnifying glass, one of the best segments on the show. I really like it. Who has the most at stake heading into the playoffs? Alongside Chris Broussard, Nick Wright, Danny Parkins. I'm Kevin Wildes. Danny, I asked you how your health resolution is going for 2026. Just wanted to
had a personal trainer session, first time ever on Saturday. It is Thursday at 5 p.m. and I am still sore.
I got it. Can I just say something real quick?
Still very sore.
You don't have to share that type of stuff.
Why? I asked him.
Why? You think I'm supposed to be
embarrassed? It's his health journey.
Yeah,
You think I should be embarrassed? You were wearing a big hat
basically,
earlier. Yeah, you think I should be
That's what he's saying.
That's what he's saying?
Yeah, man.
You're supposed to be like, I'm ready. Loved it.
No,
they see it. This is television.
I know.
They know what we look like.
You don't want to draw more attention to it, is all I'm saying, buddy.
No,
now people are going to be like, in 3 months. In 3 months, people are going to be like, why doesn't Danny look different?
That's an indictment on the trainer. That's not on you. That's
Thank
on the
you.
trainer.
Yeah. Do better, Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh, you in for it.
Time now for Danny's guarantees.
Danny's guarantees?
Yeah, I kind of made a whole new segment because we just keep on asking him something.
Bullying me into guaranteeing things.
Packers in Chicago. Saturday night, Caleb looking for win number 2 on the year. Take a listen. Against the Packers, not alone.
I think I am built for these moments. Mentality-wise, how I've worked. And so, that's I've been in a bunch of big games before and a bunch of big rival games. And so, in those moments and in these moments, I think I can provide a spark for the team. I think I can, do whatever my team needs me to do.
Okay. Danny, you're guaranteeing. I want your reaction to that. And then I'll ask, are you guaranteeing that? You're a big Caleb supporter.
I respect what Caleb did, and the Red River rivalry and some of those. But this is Bears-Packers. It's a little different, a little bit of a step up.
You think?
But he knows that.
You guys had an issue with that answer?
No, I have no issue.
I don't.
No, but I think
I like him feeling that way. I don't love that.
Did it feel though? But it didn't feel braggadocious. It didn't like. I thought it was matter of fact, and it was.
It felt a little bit like that.
I mean, you didn't. It
hit me a little bit.
If
any sophomore quarterback said that, even Drake Maye, like when we played Duke. Like,
no, but he didn't.
Like,
I mean, he just.
Like, I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Like, I mean, I thought it was like Jalen Hurts when he said sometimes it's just in you or whatever. He's proven it on the highest level.
No doubt.
But I felt like this was like the text. Nick get mad. The text to the punter. We're not going to be punting much. I mean, I felt like it was going into the NFL. It was like, I'm going to come in here and dominate. And he was in for a rude awakening. And I think you're looking. I want him to be confident. And I want him to feel like that. But I don't think you have to put it out there like that.
By the way, fewest punts ever for a Bears punter in a season this year. Torrey Taylor.
Yeah, it's still.
Never wrong, just early.
Yeah, exactly. Just throwing it out there. Caleb got it right.
Was the text this year or was it before last year?
Welcome to Chicago. You're not going to be punting that much.
Okay, I think last season he punted quite a bit.
So, and if I was going to describe Caleb in 3 adjectives, confident would be one of them. So like, I do think that is in character.
Or cocky.
For him. Well, there's a thin
that
line.
came off as cocky to me.
See,
can I answer this
and
question?
that's fine if he goes delivers.
Let's hasn't asked it.
Great.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
guarantee. You got a guarantee.
No.
Wow, the non-guarantee.
And here's
smart.
We shouldn't do these when you won't guarantee it.
Here's the reason. Well, I'm learning TV in
Not
front of
because
America.
J-Lo is a bad boy.
That has nothing to do with him. I am not interested in your little guarantees on this game. I'll play the guarantee game. I'll give you some analysis on Caleb over Jordan Love here in a second, but I do not care how this looks. Just win.
Oh, that I
just.
Well, we agree with
just that. Win. No, but not always. We've said
well,
that
it is a playoff game.
But I'm saying, I don't have a lot of experience with my team in these playoff games, and I have no experience with my team in these with a quarterback that I absolutely have been more invested in how the quarterback looks than the result of the game before. But if he throws 4 interceptions and the Bears win, I'll come skipping into work on Monday morning. Because this game in particular...
It's very hard to do that. Only all-time
yeah,
greats
he's not going
to win playoff.
I'm not saying...
The Prince did it.
I'm not predicting
it's hard to do.
I'm just saying... Just win. I'm not interested in the guarantee on this one. But I will say, as bad as the Bears' defense is, and it is bad, and Jordan Love should be able to move the ball at will against the Bears' defense, the Packers' defense, without Micah Parsons, just as bad, if not worse. The last 4 games, Micah got hurt 4 games ago.
Yep.
They are on a 4-game losing streak entering the playoffs. They're averaging 28 points a game allowed, nearly 400 yards, 0 interceptions, 3 sacks, passer rating allowed of 109. And the only team in the last 4 games with no picks, and they had 4 sacks, was the Jets. Worst defense in football. So I absolutely think in Chicago, no Micah Parsons. I do think Caleb will outplay Jordan Love. I'm just not interested in guaranteeing it.
Did Micah play when they held Caleb and company to 6 points for, 55 minutes or so?
No.
Okay, so that defense looked pretty good. Either that defense is pretty good or Caleb was pretty bad.
A little rope-a-dope by the Bears offense. They're toying with him.
So I agree with you that it's just about winning, period. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears win. I'm picking, my team is the Packers. That was my prediction. And I'm standing on it.
And you believe in them.
I believe. I don't abandon. I don't flirt with other teams.
No, but you have kind of.
But I got a serious injury. The best player on the team got injured.
Yeah.
Period. All right. But I feel good about their chance of beating the Bears, and I feel very good about Jordan Love being better than Caleb. Caleb is still. I said earlier, Danny, in a year. Maybe 2, whatever, he should be better than Jordan Love. Right now, I don't think he is. He's not consistent. And he's accurate on dynamic, spectacular throws, but he's inaccurate a lot on just the simple layups. And like against them in the 2 games, he's completed 55% of his passes. That's low even for him. His passer rating is 87. Jordan Love, here's the stats when the one full game both of them played. Now, Micah did play, so obviously he was facing a tougher defense. But Jordan Love was the better player in that game and obviously won that game. I still think the Packers defense is better than the Bears. I think the Bears, as Coach used the phrase earlier, it took an act of God for them to win that game against the backup quarterback when Jordan Love got hurt. And I just expect Caleb he's been bad early on in games lately, and then come on with some super heroics in the fourth quarter. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Jordan Love, with Josh Jacobs being revitalized from the rest, I think that he's going to play.
You want to put a period on this?
Yeah,
we
just
get
very
more guarantees.
Just quickly. My concern, I think the Bears are going to win. And I think that the Packers, the rust from Jordan Love being out for a few weeks, the home field advantage for the Bears, I think the running game for the Bears is going to be enough to overcome it. But I do think it is something and not nothing that 2 times, and both recently, this is going to be the 3rd time they've played in 5 weeks, which is incredibly rare. Like, it's not just the 3rd matchup, which happens sometimes, but the fact that they played twice in a 3-week stretch and it was at the end of the season and they're playing the playoffs is very odd. And it makes you think that there's not going to be able to be massive adjustments from those. And both of those games, this Jeff Hafley defense shut down Caleb the entire first half, and in one of them, the 3rd quarter as well into the 4th. That part to me, and the fact that the first game, Caleb played a good half. The second game, he played a good, final 5 minutes plus overtime and kind of going in the wrong direction. That would be the one piece of this game that concerns me, and I think that's why, Wilds, to answer your question from earlier, I think that has a lot to do with why the Packers are favored. Because it is a little surprising to me that this injured Packers team that didn't look good at the end of the year is a favorite in Chicago.
Next up, Bills in Jacksonville. Josh versus the Prince. Here's Josh on comparing this team to some of his old squads. Take a listen.
There's so much out there that I've missed, right? Whether it's getting a little lazy with my feet and not taking a check down and maybe instead trying to force something downfield, or throwing the ball away, not taking sacks, and allowing us to be in field goal range. And, there's still so much room to improve. And I think I just have this extra emphasis, like I said, on points are at a premium in the playoffs and just trying to do everything I can to give us points.
Danny, are you willing to guarantee Josh Allen outplays the Prince?
Absolutely.
That's outrageous.
I have absolutely no problem doing that. And I could build a negative case against your guy. Basically,
there literally one couldn't exist if you watch the NFL the last 2 months. He's been the best quarterback.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't going to put the qualifier on 2 months.
Well,
I was going to put it on their careers and turnovers.
Oh, for careers, Josh has Trevor nipped. I will admit.
You just put a random end of benchmark there. These 2 quarterbacks, I think Josh Allen over Trevor Lawrence is reasonable. But I'm not guaranteeing that the Bills beat Jacksonville. I think it'll be a fantastic game. But that Josh Allen will outplay Trevor Lawrence, Josh Allen in the playoffs is about as sure of a bet as you could possibly get that he's going to have a great game. Right. And even more so, if you don't want to go to ancient playoff history, just this year, Josh Allen, when he's played good defenses, has been spectacular. He doesn't get limited. Jaguars have a top 10 defense. Josh Allen has played 5 games against top 10 defenses this year, and he has been excellent. He is scheme-proof. Like, he is going to play well in the playoffs against good teams, home, road, it doesn't matter. To me, he is the safest bet on one of these quarterback guarantees that I could have.
Well, I mean, I would say it matters a little bit. He's never won a road playoff game. Those didn't all come against Kansas City.
But it's not about who's going to win. It's about, is he going to play well?
No. But and that's what I was about to get to. He has played well in 2 road playoff games. He has played poorly in 2 road playoff games. And Trevor Lawrence is playing right. He's the hottest quarterback in football. Of course, he doesn't have the playoff resume of Josh Allen. Oddly, one way to look at it is they both are 0-for against the Chiefs. Trevor's undefeated against everybody else. So I think that, and I think to me, guarantee if Allen outplays Trevor, they win. So you might as well guarantee the Bills win. There's not going to be a game where Josh Allen plays great and the Bills lose, in my opinion. I don't
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, the Bills have one of the worst rush defenses. Travis Etienne has 150 yards rushing.
They could lose.
So you don't think Trevor could win a shootout?
Oh, okay, that's fair. Like a 35-31 type of game. Okay, then
give it up.
Fair enough. And the ETN has a great game.
Jaguars
I guess
over
that's a fair point. But I just don't. I think it is overly dismissive of what Trevor has been for the second half of this season to feel fully confident that anyone's going to outplay him. Like he is on a all-time-ish heater. 19 touchdowns, one pick in his one turnover in his last 6 games, nearly 300 yards per game, and they're beating people by 3 scores.
No, he's on fire.
And that includes what, AW?
No, he's on fire. He's on fire. It's almost this side of the table. You know what we believe in?
What? Are you going to make this a Drake Maye thing, or can we just talk?
Due dates. Is he almost too hot?
Well, but you could have said that at any point. You could have said over the last few weeks.
But he's been beating a little bit of
I went to Denver and kicked their teeth in.
Besides Denver, but the rest of it has been a little bit of.
I beat the Chargers by 29. It's pretty good. I mean, the Chargers are in this win streak. Denver's in this win streak. Indy, when it was fighting for its life, was in this win streak. But we can say tomato can. That's fine. So I just think I think it is. I don't think you would guarantee if the seeding fell differently. I don't think you'd guarantee that Allen would outplay Herbert. I don't think you'd guarantee that Allen would outplay Maye. I don't think you'd and so I think it's dismissive of Trevor to guarantee that he outplays a quarterback who's playing that well.
But the word guarantee is what you're hung up over. Like, I think I'm not willing to guarantee it, but I do think Josh Allen, like, which one do I think will play better? Josh Allen. I imagine you would even agree with that.
I don't know. I think that the wrong team might be favored in this game. I think it's I think a lot of this is disrespectful of the Jags.
I just think heater is like, those things end. Like, that suggests that it's a streak and not who he is.
That's
who Josh Allen is.
19 touchdowns, 1 turnover, and beating everyone by 20 points is a heater for peak Mahomes or peak. No quarterback ever is that.
Jordan Love.
Right. That's what I'm saying. No quarterback is that for their whole career.
Yeah.
That's the question on the table. Has Trevor Lawrence finally arrived? Because this is what was expected of him coming out of Clemson.
Yes.
So has he arrived, and is he now an elite quarterback, or was this just a nice run, and he's still going to be up and down and go back to what he was? We're going to find out in this game.
Can I just reply to that quickly? Josh Allen is also, and again, I think he's great, and I think the winner of this game is going to play in the Super Bowl. But Josh Allen is known to be on a heater and then have a rough one.
But he's been far more consistent and just better.
He's had a better career than Trevor Lawrence. No one is arguing it. I don't know that I think he's had a better year than Trevor Lawrence. I don't know that I feel that way. I mean,
that's arguable. But Trevor Lawrence's passer rating still is pretty low.
Yes, he had
for what that's worth.
Next up, Chargers in New England. Here's a somewhat confident Justin Herbert. Danny, take a listen.
We just think about winning each game, doing our job each week and studying, practicing, preparing, and I think we're really thankful and grateful for the opportunity. A lot of teams aren't playing this week, so for us to be able to have a chance, it's all we can ask for.
Okay. Danny, are you guaranteeing Justin Herbert outplays Drake Maye?
Yeah, I'm sensing a theme here. 63.5% guaranteed.
That's pretty good.
63.5% guaranteed. Got a problem with how I came up with that? You want me to show my math on that?
Yes, please.
Okay. I converted the opponent passer rating of the Chargers into a percentage. They have the best opponent passer rating of any NFL team since 2012. They're a really good pass defense. So it is not just the caliber of the quarterbacks. And I once compared Drake Maye as a prospect to Justin Herbert. I think Drake Maye is excellent. I think their styles are actually very similar. These are two excellent quarterbacks. But Herbert gets to go against the Patriots defense.
That's first playoff.
And Drake Maye gets to go against the Chargers pass defense. And I just think even with the offensive line injuries for Herbert, it's a much easier ask for him to carve up New England than for Drake Maye to carve up the Chargers.
Wow. I'm not infuriated by this because as much as you talked about Joe Alt, we don't get to the quarterback. We don't do it. And it's going to be an Achilles heel of this team to the point guys, pick a lane. Do you want me to have
No, you pick a lane.
Rational. You want me to say Drake Maye? I guarantee you. I am saying I expect Justin Herbert to do some damage to this team. We have played a bunch of guys who are like you're not even the starter for the bad team, and we got to go up against you. Here's the Patriots defense this season. We are 23rd in sacks. We are 22nd in sacks, 23rd in QB hits. We are 16th in pressures. Justin Herbert takes a lot of hits, but I wouldn't be surprised. I saw Justin Herbert last year, I think it was last December, put 40 points in the building. So do I think Drake Maye will outplay Justin Herbert? Yes. Do I think Justin Herbert will play well?
KW.
Yes.
I love
that
it.
when you say you for us to pick a lane.
Yeah.
You remember the coolest segment on sports TV?
Of course.
Pack stats from yesterday.
Stats are cool. Yeah, stats are cool.
Remember how Danny showed a stat that the Patriots pass defense when it plays a quarterback with a pulse gets got, and you were like, I reject it. I don't think we had a whole argument. And you were like, the audience doesn't understand it. We were like, we do.
Yeah.
And
I went and researched.
And now today, I think Brew was aghast because now it seems like 24 hours later today, you're like, you know what? The Patriots pass defense might be susceptible to a good quarterback. Is that not what's happening?
I don't want to be weird about it, but I said we have the number 3 best offense. We are like Mike Tyson rising up. I am confident that we can punch. We have the number 4 best scoring defense. I am not confident that we can take punches. So now that Justin Herbert is there, I didn't like Danny's graphic because all Danny's graphic said was pretty good quarterbacks play pretty good against the Patriots. And also, Josh Allen was carrying a lot of weight. He had 128. Everybody else around 90s.
We don't need to relitigate
Then let's average it out to 105 or whatever it was. No, but I think Drake will play better than Herbert, but I don't think we're going to feast on Justin Herbert like other teams have sort of solved the offensive line. That's not our strength.
This is your defense mechanism.
This is fair. What do you want me to say?
It just Drake Maye for. You know what? I don't really want him to win MVP. I don't, so if
Drake
he does you'll be
Drake
fine.
Maye will play excellent. Yeah. I'm positive Drake Maye will play excellent. I'm positive.
Well, then they'll win.
I think yes.
If Drake Maye plays
I think Drake Maye will play excellent.
You haven't
I think
sounded that confident.
I'm saying Justin Herbert is a good quarterback. We have not played good quarterbacks we played really one, and we're 1-1 against him. Justin Herbert can throw the ball.
Yeah, he can.
So
he can run the ball.
And we can't get to the quarterback.
So
can't do it.
So listen, I think the Pats are going to win this game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think the Pats are going to win. I am more confident. I'm trying to think of all the. Yes, this is the one game where I don't see a path for New England to win if Herbert outplays Maye. If Herbert is able to overcome the offensive line issues, finally for the first time have a good playoff game, and whatever his line is, Maye doesn't get there, because I agree with you, where we agree is in this regard. The reason I look at the Patriots as a good team, but Drake Maye as a great quarterback rather than a great team with a good quarterback is because I think the single biggest strength of their team by far is this kid. And so I don't think they have. I agree with you. I know they have a top 5 scoring defense. I don't actually think they're one of the 5 best defenses. No. I like the running game. I don't think they have a great running game. I think they did an amazing job rebuilding the offensive line, but I don't think they have an amazing offensive line. But to get it from where it was to where it is, I think their path for all these playoff games, unless somebody implodes, unless somebody beats themselves, is Drake Maye's got to be excellent. Every game they're going to win, I think is going to have to go through the right arm of that kid. And I just think that's a tough ask for a young player, but he should be able to at least perform.
Travion could break a few.
The running game.
But I don't know that I think Travion's better than Omari and Hampton. Again, I understand.
I think Hampton actually is
better. And so I think both have good young running backs.
I think we'll see. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch.
You know what?
What?
Let's bet a seafood tower on it.
My man!
We're back.
Really?
I was trying to badger him off there in the gambling
On just
hall.
win?
I hate to say it.
Yeah.
Because you ordered the plateau,
I know.
me and Danny are just going to go out.
No.
Real tower? Real tower.
We get punished.
You ordered the plateau.
Time now for Frenemies, where a couple of best friends bring the group chat to sports television. We begin in Philadelphia. The Eagles hosting the Niners, the champs, Super Bowl MVP, Jalen Hurts. He was asked about his playoff experience and how that will affect this week's preparation. Take a listen.
You just take it a day at a time, truly. Take it a day at a time. I mean, obviously, it's 0-0. It's a new season. Got everything you want in front of you, but you got to take it a day at a time.
Insightful.
as always. Point spread going up a little bit. Eagles not.
Yeah, that makes me a little. That to me is maybe Trent Williams related, which would be a disaster for the Niners. I'm gonna believe Trent Williams is gonna play
for the purpose of this conversation.
Yes, and because it's Sunday and it's a playoff game, but it just. For it to move from 4.5 to 3.5 with those, to me, Trent Williams is way more of a factor than Ricky Pearsall, like as far as the ability for the offense to function. But go ahead.
No. The question is along those lines, and the points where, like we said, is getting bigger. More likely, 49ers upset, Eagles blowout. We'll define blowout for the purposes here, 10 points or more.
I think 49ers upset because I don't think the Eagles have the capability to blow out a good team. And I think there's evidence of that all year long. Their blowouts have come against the Giants, Commanders, and Raiders. They beat Dallas by 4. They beat the Chiefs when we thought the Chiefs were going to be a good team by 3. Their biggest win by margin over a playoff team is the Rams by 7, but that's make-believe. It's not make-believe, but if people remember that game, that's a 1-point game. The Rams are kicking a field goal to win, and then it got to 7 because of the amazing Jalen Carter block, scoop, score, touchdown. They haven't, since that Rams game in Week 3, they haven't scored more than 20 points against a playoff team, and I don't think the Niners are going to have. Listen, Purdy does sometimes throw some up for grabs. I don't think they're going to have so many self-inflicted errors the game gets away from them, and I just don't believe the Eagles' offense is going to flip a switch. So I just don't think blowout's on the board.
So I'm surprised at how I feel about it because I do. I came into the year really believing in Philly, thought Saquon could back up last year, picked him in that game against the Chiefs when we were there. Then the offense kind of falls apart. The trouble, the A.J. Brown drama, all that stuff comes back, the Patullo stuff. I kind of sell all my stock in them. Their defense has gotten so good late in the season, post their bye. Fangio's an amazing defensive coordinator. Their defense is very healthy, that no one's really doing much of anything against them. And I'll give you this piece of history. For whatever we think about Sirianni, obviously the guy wins, and he wins in the playoffs. They do blow people out at home. Like their home playoff games have been non-competitive because they play to their style. They hold opponents to about 14 points per game. 4 of their 5 wins have been by 12 or more, 21-point differential. But that game that we just saw San Francisco play against Seattle was one of the most physical football games all season. And Philly got to rest their guys. So I know it's an extra day of rest. That game was last Saturday. This is Sunday for San Francisco. But the Eagles have had 14 days, 15 days since they last played a game. And the Niners against Seattle, if we can show it, I think Philly's defense is in Seattle's class. And that was the worst game that the Niners have played in the Shanahan era. And so if we're defining blowout by 10 points, that game against Seattle was 13-3. Yeah. That's a blowout.
Yeah, that doesn't.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't feel, 13-3 doesn't feel like a blowout, and that game didn't feel like a blowout.
No, it didn't at all, but San Francisco coming off that performance in that game and Philly resting and this game being in Philly, there's a lot of thing going towards Philly in this spot.
The flip side to Philly resting is it's been even longer then since their offense showed a pulse. Because remember, the second half against Buffalo was a travesty.
Right, that was no completions.
Right, that was the 17 total yards, no completions. First half against Buffalo wasn't amazing, but at least they had the one touchdown.
It looks like a football team.
Correct. And so I also, Philly last year in the playoffs, the first couple rounds, was who they were in the regular season. Saquon Barkley was awesome.
Yep.
The defense was good. Jalen Hurts was efficient, but the opposite of prolific. He threw for, pardon me.
You're good. The blowouts came in NFC Championship game and Super Bowl.
Round 1 and round 2 against Green Bay and the Rams, Hurts threw for combined under 270. Not average, combined in the two games. And so they didn't flip a playoff switch, at least early. The Washington game, they scored 55. The Super Bowl, they scored 40. They looked unbelievable. So this year, the offense has been below average all year. And I understand getting Lane Johnson back will absolutely matter. And Saquon was showing more signs of, life is disrespectful, but he was showing
burst.
more pop. Yeah, burst is a better way to put it. I don't think Philly is getting to 27. And I understand we just saw the Niners score 3 points. The week before, we saw them score 42. And I think that Kyle Shanahan in the playoffs is going to be able to get the Niners to 20. And so I will just add this quickly. I would, as Wilds would say, a one take chip on the roulette wheel.
Yeah.
I think Niners blowout is not impossible. I think Niners get rolling, that crowd gets antsy, and it feels and looks like the playoff game for the Eagles 2 years ago. Not my prediction, not what I'm saying, but I don't think that's an impossibility. I think that is, of the home teams this weekend, the one that I think might struggle the most if they all of a sudden find themselves down 10-0 could be this Philly offense.
I'll just say the Eagles' defense is much closer to the Seattle's than the Bears.
No doubt about it.
All right, so there was news today on the coaching front in Miami. The Dolphins announced that they are parting ways with Mike McDaniel, who went 35-33 with the Dolphins, but 0-2 in the playoffs and 7-10 this past year. There's already reports that the Lions are interested in him as an offensive coordinator. Should another team be interested in Mike McDaniel as a head coach?
Here's the thing. I think Mike McDaniel, in some ways, was a victim of his own success, in that he made Tua look so good they invested in Tua rather than admitting what I think is the reality, which is if Tua Tagovailoa is your quarterback, your offense is going to have a ceiling against good defenses.
Yeah.
There are going to be limitations and things he can't do. And then all of a sudden, McDaniel's career became inextricably tied to Tua's, and it went downhill. I think he is obviously a brilliant play designer. I do worry about the culture stuff. And I don't think it's nothing that the team, from the reports about late to meetings, the Tyreek stuff, that team just didn't feel buttoned up. So if I had a team where I feel like the culture is already in place, you're talking about Detroit as an offensive coordinator. This obviously wouldn't happen. If Dan Campbell was like, I'm resigning, you know what I mean, and that culture's there, then I would like it. But if you have to build something from scratch, while I would trust him to help mold a quarterback, I wasn't impressed with that piece of his coaching job in Miami.
What about then Baltimore? They have culture.
So Baltimore is very interesting because I do think they have a culture, but I wonder, it doesn't seem like that it seems like they are going after defensive-minded, strong personality coaches. So this would be very different than the guys they're currently interviewing.
Yeah, so I think Mike McDaniel is a good coach. And yes, I definitely value offensive wizard play caller because I think it's the most valuable thing your head coach can be. You and I have had disagreements about that. A lot of people will say be the CEO, be the leader, be the culture guy. To me, it's like if you can be the play caller who is the offense, that's the most valuable thing for your quarterback if you have a good quarterback. Mike McDaniel had a winning record with Tua. Mike McDaniel, and we can show what the offense was. We just removed the season where Tua was out for the majority of it. So his 4 seasons except for 2024. He consistently had a top 10 offense, and that's in 51 games. The vast majority with Tua. Some of them are without, but just vast majority with Tua. Tua also threw the 5th most passes behind the line of scrimmage, despite missing 13 games in that time. So he had a top 10 offense with a quarterback who didn't throw past the line of scrimmage. I'd like to see that guy with a real quarterback.
So, let me ask you this. Then why don't what you described to me is a great offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And so like that, there is nothing wrong with being a great offensive coordinator, and I do think you dismiss too much the leadership part of being an NFL head coach, gathering the respect and attention of 53 pro football players, piece of it, and it did seem like that got away from him in Miami. I think the fit of him alongside Dan Campbell in Detroit is A+. I think that would be absolutely perfect.
Listen, I think anywhere he goes as offensive coordinator works. I'd be interested in Kansas City.
I 100% agree.
Oh,
I don't think he's a Shanahan system guy. Andy Reid's old school West Coast, so I don't know how much that meshes. But
maybe what Kansas City needs.
Right. I would love him in Kansas City. I think there is a strong argument that Philadelphia is, no matter what they do this offseason, is going to be looking for a new offensive coordinator, that he would fit there. I think offensive coordinator, he fits everywhere. I don't know that I yet believe he fits everywhere or everywhere as a head coach.
Yeah, go somewhere with a great culture head coach, learn for a year or two, then get a second shot in a year. Good addition to Frenemies. Also, check out the What's Right podcast today. It was
thank you, Dan.
Excellent. No problem. Willie Colon and Coach Mangini come out for the eye test. What's most at stake heading into Wild Card Weekend? It's coming up. Time now for the eye test. Everyone knows I see the league very clearly. So heading into Wild Card Weekend, here's what I'm seeing as to who has the most at stake with these NFL playoffs. Beyond the fact, of course, that it's win and go home. Gentlemen, to the bottom row of the eye test. 4 people down here. Lamar Jackson. What? Kind of surprising, given that, he's not in the playoffs.
He's home.
I know. But if Justin Herbert or Drake Maye or Josh Allen were to make a Super Bowl next year, all of a sudden Lamar Jackson has another AFC quarterback who's passed him in the discussion. Justin Herbert, fairly self-explanatory. He has no playoff wins. It would be nice for him to at least get one and have his resume start to match his talent. Caleb Williams, a part of what is looking like maybe an all-time quarterback class. Bo Nix is the 1 seed this year. Jaden Daniels was in the NFC Championship game the year before. Drake Maye could win an MVP this year and is the 2 seed. Caleb Williams go on a run, maybe make a Super Bowl. You can kind of reset the narrative of that quarterback class. And Jalen Hurts, if he makes it to his 3rd Super Bowl, 13 quarterbacks in NFL history have 3 Super Bowl starts. 12 of them are Hall of Famers, and your guy Ben Roethlisberger will probably get in. So if Jalen Hurts can get to 3 Super Bowls, that's a lot at stake. He can start getting fitted for that gold jacket. To the next rung on the eye test, if you don't mind. Oh, which one of these doesn't belong? Sean Payton, Matt Stafford, and me. 3 handsome rich fellas. Sean Payton can become a one of one. No coach in NFL history has won a Super Bowl with 2 different franchises.
Oh, wow.
And now he's the 1 seed. So it could be Denver and New Orleans, something that Parcells never did, Belichick never did. It would be an unbelievable thing to put on his resume when we're trying to differentiate the all-time great coaches. Matt Stafford, listen, I think Matt Stafford is going to win the MVP, even though I would vote for Drake Maye. If he does, and he has an MVP and 2 Super Bowls, he joins an exclusive list of people. Brady, Bradshaw, Montana, Mahomes, Elway, Peyton, and Bart Starr with an MVP and 2 or more Super Bowls. And the late additions to that would just be incredible rise up the all-time ranks for Matt Stafford. And me, listen, I like this national TV life. I got a lot of reputation at stake here in Justin Herbert and Caleb Williams. They're underdogs. I lost my picks contest to Nick Wright. Yeah. I got to get hot during these playoffs. I got to restake my claim.
Got to get hot.
To the next row of the eye test, who has the most at stake? Mike Tomlin and Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott, if you go one and done in these playoffs and Josh Allen, you lose another year without the Super Bowl of his prime, no one's blaming Josh Allen, and they absolutely will blame your defense because your defense has absolutely been the problem this year. And with Harbaugh available and all of these teams seemingly moving on from coaches quick, I think Sean McDermott needs to have a deep playoff run. He's going to catch a ton of heat, as much if not more than Josh Allen. And everyone's talking about Mike Tomlin and TV. So he hasn't won a playoff game since 2016. He can justify the entire Aaron Rodgers experience with just one playoff win. Obviously a deeper run, even more than that. And I imagine, as we get to the top row here, everyone would agree the title of best player in football is on the line.
It's wide open, DP.
It is on the line. With Mahomes and the injury and missing the playoffs, if Josh Allen can add to the MVP, the stats, the playoff resume, and get a Lombardi trophy on there, it's an unimpeachable resume. He will go into next year as the widely held belief that he is the best player in football. Coach, you see the league like I do?
I love the fact that you somehow put yourself on this list.
I got a lot to gain,
That
Coach.
is
Smack dab in the middle, too.
unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
That's Caleb Williams-esque. You're built for these moments.
I am built for these moments. That's right. Big playoffs for me.
You did say it with McDermott. You said he has as much to lose or more than Allen. I think we've established that he has more to lose than Allen because of the trend that was just set with firing Harbaugh. When an organization has to choose, do we move on from our MVP quarterback or a longtime head coach? Regardless of how good the resume is, they're going to choose the quarterback. So at the end of the day, if they decide to make some changes because they don't like this run, Josh Allen's still going to be there. But McDermott,
there's just not as much. There's not really any reporting on like Josh Allen and McDermott not being on the same page like there was with Lamar and Harbaugh. So I don't think it's a lock that if Buffalo loses, he's out. But it'll certainly be discussed.
No, I don't think it's a lock either. I just think at the end of the day, if a decision were to be made, we know how that decision is going to go. The coach is going to go, not the quarterback.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't have Sam Darnold on this, DP, because if you talk about where they sit, they have the top seed, they have the home crowd, he got the Pro Bowl nod, he's had a pretty good season. Nevertheless, man, we all know about Sam Darnold's playoff woes, right? You talk about taking 9 sacks against as a quarterback for the Vikings. Didn't play well. They call it the playoff meltdown, if you will. He needs to have a big game because a lot of critics, and I don't know if they're right or wrong, but they feel like he's been riding the coattails of this defense in a really good run game and a really good coach in Mike McDaniel. Sam Darnold has an opportunity to not only make a playoff run, but also rewrite his legacy, right? Because he's seen in one light as a system quarterback. He's able to carry this team, make a run. And by the way, all the weapons are there for him. Everybody's healthy. The offensive line, yes, has been spotty. He doesn't do well under pressure. He's going to have to kind of rewrite those woes. And if he's able to do that, man, he could be dangerous in the playoffs.
I consider Darnold, no question about it. He went from Minnesota chose to move on to getting a $100 million quarterback contract to backing it up in the regular season and going into week 18, we're like, is he going to choke?
Yeah.
And then he didn't choke. He was efficient, but he didn't really make a ton of plays. It was 13-3. It was much more about the defense than the offense. Now you're the 1 seed. You're the Super Bowl favorite. If he wins the NFC, goes on a run, listen, we've questioned quarterbacks who have won a ring or made a Super Bowl, Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts. It's not that he will have no questions, but he'll go from a guy that we question to, is he the best value in football? Like that contract will be looked at as like, oh my God, what an incredible job.
But the point you made, and Willie, that's a great choice. The point you made, the fact that we're grading him on, he didn't choke in the big moment, and that was a plus.
Right.
Where the amount of games he won last year and now this year with 2 different organizations, he's being viewed as a different type of quarterback. So it can't just be, don't choke, Sam. You expect him to be able to help the team win in this moment.
Because of the price tag and the team he has right next to him. Listen, he to me right now has an opportunity, and we talk about Stafford, we talk about Purdy, like he can come out of this thing because of the way this team is constructed, right? Like we love McVay and Stafford, but they've been spotty down the road the last couple of weeks too. So Seahawks got a shot, man.
Well, yeah, and if the Bears take care of business, his first round matchup is overwhelmingly likely to be, could you have to play Matt Stafford again?
Right.
You could have a rematch with San Francisco, just another NFC West matchup, losing the playoffs there, and all the criticism will be right back. Packers are talking a little tough against my Bears. Gotta be honest. I feel like responding.
You better bring your brass knuckles.
So I'm going to do it. Coming up on the OT.
If I had my pick, for any team, it would have definitely been the Bears. I want my get back for sure. We get a chance to put the Bears season to bed. That means a lot to us for sure.
However it fell, it was going to fall. If we had to go to Philly, we was going to Philly, but I'd rather play the Bears first.
A lot of the guys took that hit that he took a little personal, so I'm not saying we're going to go out there and play dirty or nothing like that, but we definitely going to defend our brothers.
Listen, I love rivalries. I love trash talk. Less hate in the world, more hate in sports. I like that these teams hate each other. That's great. But the Josh Jacobs clip at the end there about we're going to defend our brother and that hit on Jordan Love. You guys are football people. Can I show you the hit on Jordan Love where he got a concussion?
Sure.
That's it.
He ducks. That is not. Am I crazy? That is not a dangerous. That's not like an illegal, dirty hit, no? It's an accidental helmet to helmet hit.
It doesn't matter whether it is or isn't. It's just what you sell the group that it is.
Okay.
Sure.
Hey, they want to take out our guys. Look at how they're playing. That's what you sell.
Yeah, if it Bears, this is like a declaration of war, and you have to understand now that the Packers are now gunning, so you have to come out hot. You can't wait to the second half to turn it up in this game, because now they're looking to go bang it out with you. So for me, your first 10, your first 15 has to be aggressive. You have to make a statement that we're not going to back down.
No, I definitely cannot deal with another slow Bears start, and I'll be in the building for it. But to be clear, it's fine that you sell your team on that, but that is not a dirty hit, right?
Well, you're looking for everything and anything,
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't intentionally dirty. It's just what you're going to need to sell.
What you're going to need to sell. Oh, Saturday night cannot get here soon enough. Look for the handsome guy in the robe. We'll talk to you tomorrow.